Welcome back to Sunday Shenanagins Session 17, Revenge is Sweet Part 2. We return on the 22nd of the Awakening, March, for those who don't follow our calendar, in the year 65,009. Last time we left off, the party had a fun time of exploration, relaxation, and some downtime inside of a bit of a cave mouth opening that they had found in one of the mountains near their quest location that they were going for. With that, the party spent some time processing, checking out the ores, and discussing with strangers as well as their own party what they intended to do, and trying to come up with a plan on the current situation. Now that they had no Sen, no Zilpip, and really no plans, the party managed to get about, what was it, 20 vials, or is it 10 vials of holy water that you made? Oh, something like that.
It was 20.
It was 20? Yeah, that sounds about right to me.
Yeah, because it was like...
I think each of us got 4, and then me and Ned got an extra one or something.
Yeah, because I didn't. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was supposed to be 4 each.
Yep. As having spent their time working on that, the party preparing with everything they could come up with to deal with this creature, they would find themselves sailing down to where the lake was, gathering up more clay to create vials for the holy water. In hopes of creating these 20 vials, they would spend their downtime relaxing around the lake, enjoying themselves, until a large rock would come almost out of nowhere in the middle of the night, as the party would find it in the center of said lake. And the next morning, checking out, learning a few things, and ultimately deciding to just mark it off in their map. As well, with returning, the party decided to give up on the large rock that had theoretically just come from nowhere, from what you could all tell. Having decided to continue on their journey towards the last mountain in the range where they knew the necromancers to be, the party found the mountain opening, climbing in with their airship and parking within the cave. They would find themselves in a pretty quiet and very cobweb filled cave, as they would do a bit of exploring, finding themselves coming to the main chamber and finding what looked to be a large pile of items and gold, as well as an individual fully tied up and gagged, from what the party could tell. Oh no, they weren't gagged. That specifically was something I remember you guys had. It literally actually did was gag him. If I remember. Yep.
Except for not the witch to speak.
Yeah, as Dom would move them, or Dom and Kez would begin, I believe it was trying to move the guy from the top of the pile, a letter would be found with hearing about the Wyvern Mother of sorts being offering up this wizard in exchange for her quest being completed and being left alone. Though the party would spend their time discussing the idea of killing the creature or to take the loot and go, as they came to almost a steady conclusion as a group that they were going to instead kill the wyvern, the cave began to shake as the party would all turn about, and that's where we return back to you lot still standing in this main chamber of with high spiked roof, cobwebs kind of going between the. I never remember if it's stalagmites or tights, but going in between the little spikes of the ceiling, as you look about, the ceiling starts to come down, or starts to rumble as the ground beneath your feet begins to shake, rocks beginning to drop from the ceiling. I believe you lot had walked out to see your airship last we left off?
We gathered the loot and were starting to leave, and that's when you said the rumbling happened.
Yep. As we come back to you now, all having gathered up the loot, read the letter, and come to a conclusion, standing at the entrance hallway that you had all come kind of down before taking a left and heading back to your airship. What would you like to do as the mountain begins to shake?
Run, not walk to the airship.
Any complaints from you? Any comments from anybody else?
Would agree.
Getting the airship sounds nice.
Yeah. All right. Dom said yes. I assume Ned's on board.
Yup.
All right. As the party turns and starts jogging at a quick rate, The sounds of Hootie being alarmed can be heard coming throughout the cave as he stays is still on the airship, hooting out as the goslings also seem to be honking from up in the captain's area at the pilot's seat. But as you come around the corner, by the way, what was that, Dom? Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Oh,
No? Okay.
I just said full sprint like a while ago. That might have been a delay.
Oh, no worries. As you lot kind of continue running around the corner, seeing the ship at the very end of the hallway, you see as rocks are starting to drop down, large ones at that, all around the airship itself, as you lot come to the opening of the wider cave where the airship is parked. The sounds of flapping wings and a roaring can be heard from all around the mountain as it begins to shake more violently. I would like you all to give me reflex saves to see if you can make it to the airship before as a rock starts to drop from the ceiling overhead.
A reflex save, man.
Yes.
Well, that them their fancy reflex save.
Ooh. Okay. Wow, Eider.
Yeah.
Eider's anxiety at the top is helping him out.
19.
19? Okay, nice.
11.
11. As Eider and Kez, you see as the rock is starting to kind of come loose from the ceiling and is starting to right above the airship. As the two of you start sprinting for the airship, you see that Ned and Dom have yet to notice. As they just see you start running off at a dead sprint. What do you two want to do?
Yeah, I'll try, Warren / helps, push Dom to the side.
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
Mission person to get
Do I
down!
need to push my ankles?
Look, this is my instinct to try and help you. I don't say it was gonna fucking work.
Oh, back to you.
You're grabbing my leg like a koala, and I'm like, what the fuck, dude?
Well, I'm just trying to push you. I'm not trying to grab you.
You weigh so much.
Can you? What's your push drag pull out of curiosity? Because Dom's a full frost giant, so they're large or fire giant.
It's technically 1,000 pounds for
1,000.
push
Okay.
drag.
Yeah. As you start to push, suddenly the unsuspecting Dom off to the side. Dom, you feel yourself almost your thigh or your calf muscle kind of getting the lower end of your calf being pushed on as your body starts to tip to the side, pushing you up against the wall as you look down, seeing Eider shoving on you with all his might. Alright, as you do this, Kaz, what about you?
Guess I'll help Ned avoid shit. Try to get him out of the way, too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you're gonna let the rock fall into the airship out of curiosity, you're just not gonna try and go for it?
I can't fucking fly it.
That's fair.
What am I supposed to do if it's falling? I can't move the airship.
That's true. As you turn to grab onto Ned and shove, I know that your strength is high enough. As you feel yourself shoving up against Ned, almost as you look up, seeing Hootie and the goslings panicking at the little bit of glass where the pilot's seat is. You feel as suddenly Kez just slams into you, shoving you up against the wall from the side. As the rock comes slamming down, you watch hear a loud crunch as the boulder from above slams into the airship, pinning it to the ground and into the mountainside. The sounds of flapping and laughing can be kind of heard as you hear the creature almost all around rumbling with her voice as she goes, "Now you will let me leave, and you will take this quest. You understand?"
I'm getting some conflicting messages here.
"Leave in peace with my child as I've given you, and never return. Tell Regan Utham that I am dead."
You kind of trashed our method of escape.
"You will in time be able to free yourselves, and mine alone will be able to remove themselves from the area. I will not have you hunting us down or reporting our whereabouts, as I do not trust any of you."
Yeah, we'll leave.
No, yes. Go ahead,
I wanted to see while they're talking to her and that's going on. Can Domnander make like a search check or some other check? Because the rocks have fallen, damage is done. To see what the condition of the cart inside the ship is currently.
You can't see the cart. It's on the bottom of the ship, or it's in the cargo of the ship, so there's no way to see it.
Yep.
I believe the cart's fine, and I believe we need to get to the cart, fellas. Anyway.
Alternatively, Dom, do you happen to spy, for example, these winged abominations?
You want to give me a search check for that?
I will gladly look
for my diplomacy to convince
for the cause.
Okay. With a 32 diplomacy, all right. Let's see what Dom gets for the search check, real quick.
Oh, hell yeah! Yeah, I will. Search or a look check? Which would it be?
It's search. There is no look.
Okay. Oh, spot. Sorry.
Yeah.
Brain.
No, you're good. You're good.
I need spot.
My rolls today, I'm 10.
10. As you kind of, with the rattling of Eider shoving you aside, you weren't really expecting the amount of oomph that Eider was able to get behind him. You're still quite frazzled by the fact that you were pushed by him, not really paying attention at this point to where the creatures are. You don't see anything flapping or see anything seemingly in the open air behind the airship. However, as you look about, the airship itself, you do notice, is starting to slightly self-repair. But as Kez says this, you hear the voice continue and echoing through the entirety of the mountain. Then I will grant you your freedom. You will stick to your word, and if you refuse, know that this mountain and all of the mountains will become your tomb, as well as the tomb of the frost giants. As you watch as the rock kind of splits to the side, falling to the ground, kind of slamming hard on either side of the airship as it slowly uncrumples itself, the sounds of the wood cracking back into place as the airship kind of pulls itself back upright. The sounds of flapping wings beginning to dissipate as it sounds like they are starting to get further and further away.
Can I do a quick spell check? Because seems like blatant magic, but I have a fucking idea.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a spellcraft.
Woo. Spellcraft, where are you? 26.
26. As you take a second to look at the rock, you do realize that what she has, what looks to be inside for just a moment, is a black tentacle that looks to have shoved the two rocks, or the two sides of the rock, basically split and aside.
Similar to Eward's black tentacle?
Correct.
Gotcha. Where's it emanating from?
Inside, or what you could tell, it seemed to be from somewhere inside the giant boulder.
That's kind of funny. Just semi-sentient construct. Oh, God bless.
That's the egg. Zach.
As the rock splits aside, slamming into the ground, kind of causing the mountain to once again kind of tremble and vibrate. However, after a few moments, it seems to die down. As the airship continues to right itself back up, you find yourselves now only hearing the occasional sound of wind gusting through the cave system and back out like a pipe. Otherwise, it seems to have grown quiet as you kind of stand there listening. Yes?
Can Dom make some sort of search or listen check? I don't know the brightness of the cave, because he is aware that the party planned to turn down the deal the first time, and somehow the Wyvern Mother was aware and had set a trap. So unless she had intended to do this from the beginning, Dom's under the impression they're being watched.
Yeah, give me
currently, and before he talks to the party, would like to kick the shit in of whoever's in here with us, whatever little minion.
Give me a search check.
All right. Which dice is worthy? You. Do not disappoint me, or you will go across the room. Let's see. That's a nice 11.
Within 11, as you look about, kind of searching the walls, looking for anything of uniqueness, the caves seem to be quite well carved, or seem to be kind of slightly carved into. It's where you can see clear marks of a pickaxe. But other than a couple of marks where it looks like that someone had been digging into the sides of this cave, there's nothing else that catches your attention.
So Dom's just like scouring through the area, like clearly very pissed off and angry, and is just not saying anything as he's like staring down at the rock and like hunching down to get low. Like, I know you're in here. Where the fuck are you?
I say, meanwhile, Kez, Ned, and Ida are just kind of watching Dom pacing back and forth, staring at the wall, kind of quietly muttering to themselves.
He's got those, like, slitted pupils again, and he's just, like, very clearly not happy about this scenario.
Looking, now that I know, like, generally where, like, this shit seems to be coming from, do any of the other rock formations in the ceiling kind of share a similarity with our bouldered friend?
Yeah, give me a search check.
Sure thing.
Get better than
gadget,
me.
stone, cunning. I got a 15.
As you look up above, you don't notice any boulders that look like they're pre-cut out. None that look to have any markings on them. Everything looks to be as if it was a normal ceiling. In fact, it looks perfectly normal, as if it's been here for years.
Gotcha.
As you,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I will mention something that does immediately catch your attention with that is that as you look back up, where the boulder fell, there's no hole or missing chunk of rock. It's still just solid ceiling.
Gotcha. I did a quick detect evil on the boulder itself.
Sure. As you do so, nothing seems to ping.
Okay. Cover me, I guess. And I'd like to like go up to the lip of like the cave entrance and like look up and make sure that they're not just like literally waiting on the side of the fucking mountain to just bomb blitz the fuck out of the airship.
All right. Yeah. As you do this, Kez and Ned, what are you two doing at this point? Out of curiosity.
I am checking on Booty and the Goslings.
Okay, so Ned's climbing up onto the ship and trying to and getting inside. Okay, Kaz, what about you?
I'm gonna cover Ader.
Oh hell, you're gonna what? Sorry.
I'm gonna cover it.
Oh, cover Ader.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. As you kind of keep an eye and looking about, watching for anything that could be moving or any creatures as Ida runs off, Ned seems to kind of follow after you for a moment, Ida, as Dom seems to be still muttering back and forth, looking at the stone walls, kind of like trying to feel around for any switches or like runic marks that aren't being shown. As Ned kind of starts to climb up the ladder, you continue passing by the end of the airship, and as you look out, just around as you hear the top of the airship pop open as Ned heads in within, you begin to look about at the clear skies. It's beautiful. It's brightly lit in sun. It's gorgeous out, and there's not a single creature in the sky for miles. You can see just vast ocean and snowy covered landscapes.
This is a disappointing outcome. Yeah, I'll like turn and not saying anything. Imagine like turning, also like kind of looking up at like the actual like mountain's face of the cliff. Similarly, nothing there as well.
As you look up, there doesn't seem to be nothing there. As you take a second.
Okay. Like, gonna trot back to the group. Looks like they're not waiting to ambush us outside. I'm going to need a couple of things to try and repair the ship. So let's go down the other way, maybe, and see if there's materials.
Quick. Kez is already down in the depths of the cave. Question real quick. Dom is agreeing, but the guy we were given, Dom's been keeping a page. I assume, despite my search check, is the guy still there, tied up and gagged?
Yeah. His eyes, as you look at his face, his eyes are covered. He's still got a gag in his mouth. His hands are still tied together. His feet are still bound.
Can I use another piece of cloth to wrap his ears to ensure somehow she can't hear through him?
Sure, yeah. As you kind of take
ultimate paranoia move.
Yeah, tearing off some cloth from your from his robe, you start tying it around his ear or his head again. The individual doesn't seem to move or even make a sound as you do so. Wrapping around, tying it tight.
Okay, so Dom just does that, and kind of looks up at Eider. Right, we should search the cave anyway to see what we can find, anything that's useful. If not, we do have the plate armor. I'd not like to use it, but it might be able to patch the ship. Worst comes to worst, right? It is metal.
Just kind of nods.
I got you, Lucas. I know exactly what you're trying to say.
Wait a minute. Alright. So, alright, okay. As you, I don't know what's going on. I assume it's something in planning chat. But, alright, as, Eider, you're gonna go looking about the ship, trying to see what needs to be repaired and worked on?
No, we're scouting for materials in the other direction that we didn't go originally.
Okay.
We need to find parts to repair it.
Alright. Yeah, as you head back around to where the horde was, seeing where the other entrance to the cave is, looking out, you can see heavy snow, and it looks to go out to a large cliffside as it kind of turns sharply, allowing you to just walk around about 15-foot wide path that goes about another 100 feet almost straight up. As you again have to hike up through the snow. It seems from what you can see as looking out of it, you can see from that Eider that looks like it turns hard right once more and then looks to go to the mountain summit. So are you planning to go all the way out there, just to clarify?
Sure.
Okay. As you lot kind of head further into the cave, or go into the cave and head to the secondary opening, you had heard some footsteps go out of earlier, last session. What's the marching order?
I'll take point.
Okay.
I'll be right behind.
Oh shit! Somebody grab Ned.
Ned's still in the airship, yeah, relaxing.
Dom, I was about to say, Dom was planning
Do
to
I see them out of the window?
You do see them walking off into the cave. The Goslings and Hootie are somewhat calm, although Hootie is missing a few feathers that the Goslings seem to be playing with.
Well, looks like we're leaving. Gotta go. And I just take off again.
You hear Hootie squawks of annoyance as you leave him here once more.
Peter,
I like to
Ned,
have left.
Good.
I just want to say I would have gone to try to get Ned, because Dom would like to leave the captive with the Goslings, so it's, the guy's not unattended.
Okay. Yeah, as you
Ned,
could climb
here's a captive, we need to go.
As you kind of toss them in down, now, are you just tossing them to the first deck and leaving them there?
Well, wherever the Goslings are, just like, Ned, can you tell the Goslings to make sure this guy doesn't do anything? And if
Wait,
he does,
stuff him in a barrel.
yeah, where's the nearest barrel?
Down in your cargo bay.
Yeah, stuff him in a barrel. That way
Yeah.
he's like bound, restrained, deafened,
Yep.
silenced.
We're pulling a barge wrist. Put him
This
in the
man-
barrel.
If this man finds a way to cast, he fucking deserves it at this point. Fuck it.
Alright.
Exactly.
Yeah, as you head down below, kind of seeing as Ned kind of pops his head out after saying goodbye to the Hootie and the Goslings. As you see him pop out and kind of mention this, pushing past him, you head down to the cargo deck on the very bottom, shoving the guy into the barrel. He doesn't seem to fight, he doesn't seem to move, he doesn't even seem to acknowledge any sort of grunts as you set him in and put the lid on. No noise, no sound, no nothing. As
I'm getting ready to head out, since I've seen Dom carry them in, I just be like, if he moves, make him regret it.
You hear the Goslings honking in excitement as they head below.
Hell yeah, this guy is. We're gonna come back to them eating his, tearing his body apart.
But yeah, as you two
boy.
head out up above the stairs, kind of going out above deck and climbing down to catch up with with Kaz and Eider. As you go around the corner back towards where the large pile of what you assume was a horde was sitting, as well as the individual originally, you lot see the opening to the other opening to the cave.
All right. Probably best to buddy up with somebody that can climb well. I tap my boots and you see them glow kind of bluish. I was a little worried about falling today, so I packed something that should hopefully break my fall.
Yeah,
But yeah, I would offer I have a grappling hook, but that is not going to help. Pull out, grappling hook is the size of Kez's thumb. Pad.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'll be right here.
Worst case scenario, keep a lookout.
Yeah, with this and casual his chest plate, it's a lot of weight. Doesn't really make me a good climber. I don't got those fancy boots to save me if I fall.
Yeah, let's go possibly safe. Danger can wait. If it's needed. I've seen you run. You'll get there quickly enough.
I can definitely get a move on, that's for sure.
Alright. So Eider taking point to begin to climb or ascend the snowy and very slippery terrain. Give me a reflex save, Eider.
Oh no. It'd be like bowling pins.
Flat 10.
That does not beat the DC. Eider, as you take a step out, kind of expecting yourself, feeling confident in yourself for a second. You're used to the ice, but almost immediately as you step onto the snow, to step out into the harsh winds that were coming off the peaks just from the being so high out, you immediately feel your first foot go out from underneath you as you find yourself falling backwards, flat on your butt. Looking down, you see the snow that's been kicked up. There is a solid sheet of ice underneath the snow.
Gotcha. Do my best to I do an interesting move, which is I just claw grip my way and just kind of push my fingers into the ice with the adamantine gauntlets.
So you're going barrel crawling across, okay?
Yeah, it's all right, you little shits, you ain't gonna give me traction, I'll do it myself.
You watch as Eider pulls himself up, kind of wiping a bit of snow off, looking at you a lot, and then seems to lean forward down onto his hands and starts digging his hands into the snow. You hear the cracking of what sounds like ice underneath it as he begins to pull himself forward. Give me another reflex save, this time with advantage. There you go. Wait, is it 2 rolls? It's 19. Well, advantage is +2. In this case, so for reference.
Oh.
Yeah. 3.5. Yeah, D&D works a little different. Hey, I finally got one on you.
Well, typically, advantage is usually like a numeric +5. I didn't know if you were just doing the thing from
+2. Yeah, no, you're good. So with
right,
that,
so 21 technically.
Yeah, as you dig your hands and your feet, you manage to get a nice, comfortable grip and start pulling yourself up as you start climbing forward. Who's going after Eider? After just watching this little show.
I can.
Okay.
So, like,
Dom can try.
pat Dom
He's
on
got
the shoulder
decent balance.
and be like, "You got this." And as I pat his shoulder, I'll cast guidance, so you have a +1 on attack roll, saving throws, and skill checks.
All right, there you go. You got
Thank
+1.
you. Dom will like pause and look at Ned and kind of like tap your hand and like a thank you, and will being mindful of like where Eider stepped, attempt to step in the place that still like has snow, so it has a bit more traction, and I'll try to climb up.
All right.
I assume another reflex save.
Yep.
All right, reflex with the guidance. So that is 19.
19. Dom, like a cat on a fence, this is easy as you manage to dig your feet into the snow comfortably, finding a right amount of like weight you need to put on each foot. You start walking forward and climbing the mountain with ease. It's just like any other day for you.
I was raised here. I'm one with the ice.
Wait, I'm a fool.
As you look back to
Fire better than the
sing-
snow dwarf.
Yeah, you look back seeing Dom just kind of digging their feet in a little bit as they take each step, taking kind of slow but keeping them upright with ease.
I just realized what I could do.
Giant penguin.
Yeah, my fucking IQ is one-dimensional.
It's okay. It's understandable. I didn't say anything. I'm not going to. It's fine.
It's all good.
Yeah, alright. As you watch as Dom Nander goes around the corner, kind of catching up after Eider, who's following after? Are Ned or Kez going to follow after?
Jim, I'm not climbing.
Okay.
You know, I could, but I think I'll stay here with Kez.
No, you can go ahead.
If it makes you feel any better, Eider turns and sprays a gout of fire to help, unice the path.
As you watch the water starts going down, I need a save, a reflex save from both Eider and Dom, as the snow and ice begins to melt away.
Yeah, Dom watches you start to melt. Is like, don't.
Oh no, Eider. Wasn't in that one at least, so you're not going off the side of the mountain. That's a good news.
To be fair, I've only got a flat 20.
I
I'm
know.
also already prone.
Dom. Let's see.
22.
Dom, you managed to kind of like quickly dig your feet into the stone underneath as you feel the water and chunks of ice kind of come up from underneath your feet. Eider, as you turn, laying this fire out of your hand, the palm of your hand, it begins to melt underneath your feet as you feel the ice starting to give way, and that oh no, I fucked up moment, as your eyes look down at Dom and you start slowly sliding back underneath Dom, finding yourself all the way back at the bottom of the climb.
I become annoyed and activate my fucking air step boots, and I just fly 20 feet forward. Set down and just kind of try and keep moon landing on this shit.
There.
I see the new path, give Eider a thumbs up, and start heading up.
Give me a reflex check, then you start climbing up as well.
The water's gonna refreeze.
Oh man.
11.
Ned, it's not easy to walk as you manage to get your feet barely in, the water pushing back and chunks of ice kind of becoming slick underneath your feet. You find yourself stumbling a few times, but managing to keep your feet just barely as you take your first few steps forward.
Yeah, I'm just gonna sit down at the bottom here and just say some prayers. Not like asking praying out of me, but essentially the equivalent of like my Hail Marys and Our Fathers.
Oh, your meditation as you kind of watch this, seeing that all your party members who are not wearing armor that's going to cause them to fall off the side of a very narrow off of a narrow path of a mountain, struggling.
Yeah.
You don't want to be that guy.
I'm not gonna do that.
But yeah, as you sit down, kind of meditating, Eider, as you manage to get ahead of the group once more, with Dom right behind you, Ned lagging a little bit, but managing to keep up at a decent pace. It takes you another 20 minutes of winding around the mountain before you come to what looks to be right off the side of the peak, a large opening that has been dug into the mountain. The peak and the sides of this now almost open square that you're looking around look to be 40 feet risen up off of the platform you're now standing on, meaning it looks like almost a bowl of sorts. As you look out, you see the cliffside seems to extend further. Don't worry, I do have a map for what I'm for this. As you see what looks to be at the end of this cliff that almost kind of extends past the side of the mountain, a large marble platform that is sparkling with blue gems that are floating about the platform.
Gotcha. Taking out, some of the bits and pieces of gear I've got, I'd like to start like driving a couple of pythons into like the actual ground, like making sure to actually break into the stone itself, so it's not just like anchored in ice. And try and like throw Kez a rope.
Okay. Yeah, as you begin, we'll just call it a used rope check just to make it easy, to see how effective this whole thing is. Yes.
Aid another in this?
Yeah, I'll give a +2 on top of that for that. Go ahead, Eider.
There you go.
Eider, you needed that. It takes you a bit of like hammering away at it. The silver hammer you have isn't very seemingly strong when it comes to dealing with bronze nails as you're slamming the python into the side of the mountain, feeling the impact each time, kind of pushing the silver of the hammer in a little bit. But after a couple of struggling, you manage to get it in, dropping down the rope as Kez, you see as a rope almost comes dangling down right next to you.
Eider has a silver hammer?
Yeah. You got it for me.
I thought you wanted a spear. I got you a spear.
No, you got my hammer. Because a silver item for each. It was gauntlets, I believe, a hammer, hammer, and what was it? Yeah. The sword, yeah, the scimitar, that was right. Yep, that Ned got.
Right. Oh, that's right, because the spear was if they didn't have a hammer. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because I've got slashing and slashing and piercing already.
I'm surprised the crafter doesn't have his own hammer. Oh well.
Oh, I technically do. I just let DM continue on. Because I've got like an artisan's kit, so I've got like, a blacksmith's hammer and everything.
However, this hammer that he is carrying does have a slight red color, lyrium coloration to it.
Yeah.
Or not lyrium, sorry, colorium. My apologies.
Listen, I'm
very different, very different.
I am not entirely content on putting my life on the line of a rope being tied somewhere, so I'm just gonna like give it a couple tugs just to see what it will do on me.
Yeah, give me a strength check.
A what check?
A strength check.
Yep. Yeah, you cut out a little bit for me.
No worries. Yeah. Did I cut out again?
Yeah, it was just like one word. It was like
it
was just straight that cut out.
Yeah, strength check.
22.
Yeah, 22. As you pull the first time, as you're kind of finishing hammering it in, Eider, you watch as the python immediately pulls out and just kind of like drops. From your point of view, Kez, as you pull, it gives a little bit, and you hear clanging metal.
1 second.
As Eider smashes the hammer and smashes in one more time, as you give it another pull, it seems to kind of, at this point, manage to give you a bit more leeway. As you pull a little bit and feel it seems to hold your weight.
Oh god, that could have been really bad, huh? Alright,
Tie around yourself, we'll try and pull you up.
Yeah, I like that idea better. Alright. I'll tie the bottom of this rope around my waist.
All right, as you kind of begin tying it around yourself, Dom and Ned, at this point, you see, or you get to the top at this point, behind, catching up to Eider, seeing as he's untying a rope from a very large bronze, like nail-like object, and is starting to like pull on, kind of tug a little bit on the rope, waiting for something. As you kind of see him standing there.
Tom doesn't have good strength, so I don't think there's much I can do other than be there to help catch Eider if he starts to get pulled over the edge.
Brandon, I think every little bit of strength helps getting me up there.
Yeah, just like genuinely, it doesn't like super matter when you've got 3 people pulling it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, I guess
Especially as a large creature.
I'll be in the middle, and I'll give Ned the rope to be at the end, because I know he's stronger than me. And that's how that works.
All right, Ned, are you going to assist, or are you going to just kind of stand there and watch this?
I grab the end of the rope by just one hand.
Okay. All right, let's get
Not really understanding, just like looking at it like.
And then as you grab
What do
it,
you mean you don't understand it?
you begin to feel like a heavy weight starting to kind of pull your arm forward a bit. As Eider and Dom, go ahead and give me strength checks, start to kind of tug backwards. Are you gonna try and help Ned, or are you just gonna kind of watch this as they start to pull?
Robert, please.
Well, I've played tug of war with many creatures in my lifetime, so obviously that's what we're doing.
It's
I will win.
You feel the this could be them like fishing for the wyvern. You never know. I mean, you don't know what this is tied to.
This is why you have to tell Ned everything we're doing.
Is the guidance still up?
Yes,
Do
yes,
I
that is
still
correct.
have guidance?
Yep, you would.
Okay.
I am tugging with all
Okay,
of my
that
life.
is
All right,
so good.
Ned, give me a strength check as well then.
Oh. I got a 17, guys. This is
17,
incredible for me.
15. All right, Ned.
Nat 1 for a 2.
No.
Alright, Kez,
Picking up the slack.
all I'm gonna ask is a reflex save, as I assume you're not just gonna let them pull, you're gonna try and somewhat climb up to assist with this. To
Yeah.
Make it Okay.
Alright. Reflex save. 6?
I'm gonna slip off the rope and I'm gonna tumble down the other side.
As Eider and Dom begin to pull, you two feel the rope pulling between the two of you, chugging as back as you can. You feel and can hear Kez, both at this point, him cursing under his breath. Not trying to show his angrier side as a cleric, as these are not words that are usually permitted, but the many giant swears as you hear the occasional rock kicking off the side of the mountains is quite loud, as well as the occasional near high-pitched screech as he gets close to the edge and then corrects himself to pull himself back over to the side. Kaz, this is the worst climb you've ever done. You are drifting to the side, the rocks are kicking up under your feet. They're pulling at best they can, but it is jerky and causing you to move.
This is horrible. This is not how I'm gonna die.
As you manage to get to the top, seeing Eider and Dom red in the face, Ned's just kind of standing there holding the rope and kind of pulling it slightly with one hand to show that he's helping. As you come around the corner,
Ned's pulling in the opposite direction.
seeing as you finally manage to pull yourself up, you get off of the climbing terrain as you come to flat land that's just thick with snow. As you see Eider and Dom kind of let down the rope, breathing, sweat dripping down. Ned looks perfectly fine.
Oh, you were on the other end of the rope.
What else would be down there?
You know, I'm in my grove. I played tug of war with many a creature.
The sadness in Kez's voice.
Dom's just looking in awe at Ned as he's hunched over, breathing heavy, you can't see with his layers, but he's profusely sweating. This was a workout. He was fighting for his life, and he's just staring at Ned.
Pull a piece of my ripped up bedroll and hold it out to Dom. You need to wipe your face.
I know where that bedroll's been.
As he hands it to you, you smell the wet dog smell on it from the wolf that was inside of it previously. I shredded it. Oh.
I'm pretty sure there's a mold on it too.
Well, it hasn't been yet to be cleaned, so it still smells of a mix of Ned and yeah.
It's got ink on it. It's been written on.
We did write
Yes.
on it.
Yeah, there's ink in it.
About
That's been kind of like wiped across at this point and smeared about. Yeah.
It's got a layer of moss from Ned's skin.
As he kind of offers this out to you, the smell is a putrid as he offers it.
I'm fine. And just like stands up and is like.
All that huffing and puffing says otherwise.
Let's just
The cold weather will
let us move on.
help.
We have a spooky blue altar to investigate.
As you kind of stand up, catching your breath, Kaz, Dom, and Eider, kind of looking about and walking towards the altar. Who's going towards it? What are they doing? To describe it once more, as you see it looks to be about 7 feet off the ground in total, like at the very edge of this of the cliff. Yes. God damn it. The what looks to be is the slab itself only seems to go back about 9 feet in length. And seems to each corner seems to have a very large blue-like crystal that's about roughly 6 feet in height and seems to be glowing, as well as multiples of 10 of crystals just kind of floating about these 4 pillars.
Has Ned ever seen anything like this out in nature before?
Give me a knowledge nature check.
Cool.
Similar for magic.
Yep. Knowledge arcana. Damn. All right.
What were the 2 knowledges you said?
Nature or arcana. All right.
Good.
No, you cannot sense motive, Dom.
That
I'll
was
roll for the hell of it.
the question. I was gonna ask if I could do a search check to see if there's any items or, I don't know, corpses of note.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I got a 4.
Hell yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, Dom starts looking about. Eider and Ned. So we'll start with Ned. Ned, as you look at this for a moment, you would recognize that this is very common. You've seen rituals. That's the word I was looking for. You've seen rituals of druid groves doing this prior. This wasn't something that was uncommon for them to do, to create a grove of their own by creating large pillars of these glowing blue-like rocks that seem to enrich the trees with magic and allow them to create a dense wall around wherever the grove has claimed territory. However, this is also known to be commonly find these just out in the middle of abandoned settlements that have been ransacked, as the crystals with time will eventually become less bright and will slowly crack and break apart, losing the magic that the grove would gain from it. Eider, with you, with your knowledge arcana, as you kind of take a look at this, it takes a moment for you to piece everything together, but as you think for a second, this looks to be similar to something that the clerics back of your homeland would use as supports to Sarazeki. They would typically offer sacrifices of souls that were a little less willing, but still had a want to be on the mortal plane to the god, which was commonly considered an affront, and most who would use this would find themselves cursed in some way by an unknown being, yet to be known of this world. Many rumors of these curses could range from tentacles and malformations of like an aberration appearance to as far as or as severe as losing all capabilities to use any sort of magic. depending on the level or unwillingness of the soul and creature to be sacrificed.
Oh shit.
With the search check, Dom, there's a lot of snow, a lot of pillars of rock. There's too much snow. There could be a mountain of gold under all this snow for all you know. I mean, it's just too much to dig through. There doesn't seem to be any obvious, though, markings or showings of items even near the ritual. It just seems to be these blue rocks.
I would explain the resemblance of the druid stuff to them.
Okay.
So what's your take on it, Ed?
Well, it kind of seems like maybe there was a grove that got started here. Do the crystals look worn down and broken, or do they look fairly new?
They look almost brand new. They're glowing brightly. Like, you're pretty sure that your ship should have seen the amount of light they're producing when you guys were flying about.
But it looks like this would be for a very new grove. Like, these crystals are brand new.
It bears a passing resemblance to some of the sacrificial magic of the cults of Serixi from my homeland. Let's do a good old detective on the site real fast.
I'm gonna PM you something.
Oh God.
No.
Famous last words.
There we go.
Oh, great reaction. I look forward to this.
Yeah, I must go. My people need me. I think it's a good accurate.
So yeah, I'm stunned.
Oh.
You see as Eider just goes paler than usual. The little color that's normally in his cheeks disappears, obviously, as his eyes go wide and he starts to slightly sweat, looking straight down at the ground. A few moments go by, and Eider, you feel the paralysis kind of dissipate.
And like,
Did
while
he
he's
touch the
frozen, I
crystals?
poke him to see if he's alive still.
He is still breathing.
So, there's about 100 corpses buried in the snow, which would ordinarily be probably the worst part of that. Unfortunately, there's an ancient dragon buried underneath those corpses.
So we're standing on a literal burial ground?
Bryce, are these crystals housing their souls?
Give me a, we'll call it a wisdom check for your religion.
Thank you. I love wisdom checks. They're very nice to me. That is a 24.
As you kind of take a second to stare at the crystals, assuming the worst, you focus your mind and you sense no souls coming from the crystals.
Oh, thank God. Thank the mother, and I do like a random hand thing. The equivalent of a Catholic's cross, you know. Whatever that may be for a longbow.
As you do so, you do hear a light whisper in your ear, Kez. as a familiar voice of almost a motherly tone comes to whisper in your ear once before her. Young, strong man who goes off to his first day of cleric school. You hear the voice go, "The Grove, fear the Grove," and the voice dissipates.
Fear the Grove.
So you're saying I shouldn't just start randomly shooting spellfire at it until it's destroyed?
Yeah, I just got some, I would like to call it divine advice. It just told me to fear the grove. So, and Keznok is going to start backing up. It's like, maybe I'm not ready to take this on yet. There could be a lot of bad juju around here. It's, not ready for it. Actually, just to see...
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's... yes. I would like to cast Death Watch.
Okay.
Because I want to see if these things underneath me are dead or undead.
Yeah, as you cast Death Watch, give me a second. I'm loading it, potentially. Or my internet's crashing again. One of the two. We're gonna find out soon.
Plus,
There we
if they're undead, I'm just not gonna disturb them. Just be like, I can't deal with that many.
He's dead. Alright, yeah, so the first thing you catch is that, almost the entirety of this mountain, it's 30 feet. So the entire top of this mountain that you're feeling around you, like, directly, in all directions except for above you, you feel, death surrounding this area. And as you begin to sense corpses that are mounding, your Death Watch is able to gives you enough to note that there are more corpses even further beyond what the range of the spell is capable of. However, as you only feel a pile of dead bodies beneath you, souls of fallen frost giants is the only thing you're able to tell.
This is no hope. It's a body pile. Ader. As far as I can tell, from 30 feet from this point,
It's all corpses.
it's a lot of bodies.
Yeah, I counted about 100, plus a giant dragon under that.
Yeah, listen.
Not undead dragon, mind you, just so horrifically evil, it still leaves a signature.
Listen, I'm all about taking care of the undead and stuff of that nature. I think my god just told me to fear this, and I don't think we're ready to deal with whatever this is.
Just kind of nod.
I think our quest of finding building materials is done. I think we should leave.
I think we can patch it up from here.
Go, Kez, give me another wisdom check, and then a will save, please.
Oh
no! 22 wisdom check.
Okay. And the will?
Rolling that right now. 26.
As you begin to feel your mind clouding, you manage to kind of resist for a moment, but you feel your body driven to go forth and cut down the crystals. You feel something pushing you forward.
I'm resisting.
Yeah, you're still within control of your own body, but something seems to be pushing you towards it.
Alright, excellent. I cast Protection from Evil.
Okay. Nothing seems to happen. You still feel the drive to go forward.
So, the spell doesn't go off?
No, the spell goes off. does not change the fact that the drive to go forth and attack those crystals is still seemingly ebbing at the back of your mind. Yes.
So whatever is happening isn't evil, I guess.
Yeah, can Dom look, like, having listened to, like, Eider and Kez talk, look, and I don't know what it'd be, I assume, like, an Arcana check. Can I try to determine if this power is linked to, like, the Wyvern and that call, or if this is a separate entity? Because they're connected to the same cave. So I assume they're one.
Give me a spellcraft check for this.
Okay. I believe I have explicit spellcraft, so I think it would just be intelligence, correct?
Spellcraft is intelligence. Typically, since
no, I see it listed, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't have any bonuses.
Yeah, because you're not a caster, assumedly, so...
So is this, like, mental control, like a charm, like compulsion enchantment, or anything like that?
It is divine in nature, if that's what you're asking, so no, it is not a charm.
Is it...
Mother wishes for you to destroy.
Well, charm is a descriptor of an effect. It doesn't care if it's divine or arcane, technically.
Yeah, you are correct. However, as far as it goes, from what you can tell, Kez, the push, due to your resistance, there's not enough of a presence there to get much more than you feel something at the back of your mind ebbing you to step forward. Every time you look to take a step away from the crystals, you feel yourself slightly hesitating, though able to do so. Yes.
So whatever is doing this
Okay.
isn't evil, since my protection of evil isn't stopping it.
Correct. And with a 9, you're unsure, Dom.
Is it wise to leave this here if we're concerned about them getting stronger and being around? Would we be under danger breaking these, or would this just allow their strength to continue? Because I'm not exactly happy about having let them go to begin with.
There's no souls in these, so it can't be like a phylactery, right?
Eider, like, tries to turn to Dom and say, I don't know what you're talking about, Dom. We're just here for the building materials.
We're here for building supplies.
Although,
so
I think we
Can
might
we
have
not
a better
use these for the ship? Or no?
Potentially. Or like weighs his options, grits his teeth, and says, "Be prepared to run down the mountain." Possibly. 1 second.
Dom will subtly prepare a flask of the concealed holy water in his hand, just in case.
I guess we're about to see what happens, right? I'm being compelled to move forward, and whatever is telling me to do it, it's not evil.
Because you might want to back up. I don't know if it's going to explode if I try to fuck with it.
You think I'm trying? You think I'm trying to move forward?
See his feet kind of slightly
you look
hesitate.
like you're kind of scooting.
I hope you also notice I'm resisting with all of my physical might tonight.
Because every time you stop focusing on it, you notice you're like slowly moving and inching yourself towards it naturally, and then as you refocus, you find yourself pulling yourself back.
Alright, fucking shit.
I will give you a second. We're gonna pause recording because the DM has to run to the restroom real quick. So I'll be hitting me in the ass really badly. Alright, I return.
You don't cook something all the way through.
I cooked
Maybe
it all the
it's
way
the
through,
dragon.
motherfucker. I will come over to your house and force feed you this goddamn homemade pizza. Oh, I returned
That's
though.
not a homemade pizza.
I add toppings to it. It's as homemade as it gets for me. Go ahead
All
though.
altered pizza.
Okay, I've got one thing. I've got something to try. I want to whip out the blue lyrium spear and attempt to yeet it at the altar.
All right, give me a just a your base attack. Let's see what happens.
Wrong chat.
Did you
Where'd
PM it
you
to
roll
me?
that?
Man rolled in the PMs between us.
Oh my
I feel like
god.
that's a nat 0. It's
13.
impossible, but congrats.
As you
It's only
kind
a
of
5 to hit a square, technically, so.
pull it out and start kind of like aiming, kind of looking, doing the full football pose, trying to figure out, testing the wind, looking about, really not wanting to fuck this up. You turn, or you begin to throw it and chucking it as hard as you can, watching as the thing lands almost dead center of the platform, and it immediately begins to float and spin around the lyrium, the large shards of lyrium that are kind of the 4 pillars in each corner. It seems to float about and follow them almost in a circular pattern. Nothing else
Okay,
seems to
that
happen.
I did not expect that part. Not gonna lie.
There's a field.
Well, and by the way, so this feeling in the back of my head, this divine, does it feel familiar or does it feel foreign? It doesn't feel like when my god would talk to me or anything.
With
right?
the amount that you're resisting, it feels like something's trying to. It does feel like something is being aggressive towards you. As to your question, has your god done this to you before? No, your god has never been aggressively trying to push an idea into your head.
Yeah, because I can imagine if she wanted me to do this, she would have just told me, and of course I would just do it. Especially when I assume she just told me to fear the grove.
Wait a minute, fuck. I like turned to Kaz like, wait, absolutely don't go. The thing's a sacrificial altar.
You know, yeah, I don't want to be there. However, I'm really trying my best. Focus.
Ned, help keep Kez back. If we're not going to commit to doing something with these crystals, then we should get going, or Kez will... We'll have a repeat of the werewolf incident, I sense.
I wonder, you know what, because of the chat that kind of just reminded me, since, these people that were going were divine casters, at least the people, it could be their deity, whoever was tied to them, that could be trying to force me to do this.
Yeah.
Since their spells were inherently good aligned, as what you told us, Ader, when you were doing your research.
There's also the fact that they're like the diametric opposition of your god, and like a lot of deific like things, like if you sacrifice an apostate, rituals tend to be stronger. So like,
fucking help me!
yeah, I like turn to Ned and Dom and say, try and help push him down the mountain. I'm going to try and do something very stupid, and hope it doesn't immediately fuck us.
Suck that magic off, Big Daddy.
Well, it's lyrium. I don't know that I can suck the magic off. I can blow it the fuck up, though, from a safe distance.
Alright.
So, there's obviously gonna be toboggans up here for me to slide down the mountain with.
Nope, but as
What
you,
was the
if you're
rope?
gonna, if
Dropping you
you're
off
gonna
the rope.
turn back around and climb down, you can give me a reflex save again, going down.
Maybe lower it down instead. With the rope, please.
With the rope.
All right, who's lowering? I need this. Whoever's helping with lowering Kez, I'll need strength checks from. Kez, I will still need a reflex save. You just get a +2 on top of it.
Alright, cool.
I explicitly look at Ned and say, we're going to grab this rope, and we're going to hold on and slowly let Kez get down.
Ned has
If you want to
stepped
do tug
away.
of war with the goslings, we can do that later. This is a safe descent.
I feel like it has been described enough for him to know that we're doing this.
Well, yeah, I'll give Ned. I'll use Ned's strength modifier here. Let me see what he's got.
+7.
Yeah. I assume he'd.
Hopefully. I have a -2, so technically -1 with guidance. So
for my
I
reflex
have a
save,
7 in strength, guys.
Okay.
that would be a 23 already, including the +2.
Okay. Oh, he only gets a +1. Oh no. Oh, this is gonna be bad.
Oh my gosh! Wait a second. I got a nat 20, but it's -1, so I got a 19. This is the best I'm gonna get ever, guys.
As you as Ned and Dom grab hold of the rope, Kez kind of still have not removed the tie around his belt at all, having still been tied down, turns and begins to rappel down the side. Though slipping and sliding here and there, you maintain a pretty good, comfortable grip without having any thing that causes you the same panic as going up. Kez, as you finally find yourself back down towards the platform and pulling yourself inside the cave.
I will take off the tie around.
Okay.
Yeah, I will remove my rope belt.
All right.
And be like, okay. Am I still being affected?
You are not.
Oh my god. Man, I sure hope that doesn't get changed to somebody else being affected.
You do again hear once more that motherly whisper in your ear that you recognize so familiar as your own god. Fear the grove. Do not fight the grove. Death is pure. Undeath is pure. Follow the grove.
I'm just as puzzled as Kaznok right now.
Kez, give me a will save. 21.
That sounds suspicious as hell, my guy, but I can't sense the motive because it's not my brain.
You immediately catches your attention. The voice slips slightly and changes tone just for a moment, just enough to catch your attention and take you out of this trance. There's someone else impersonating your god in your head.
What do I do? That's what they told me before. Lie? Or again? No. I can't operate like this.
Kez starts to kind of stand looking about, trying to figure out what's true, what's not, as he begins to have a slight breakdown. Ned, to catch you up since you walked away, Eider threw a large sphere of lyrium. It did nothing other than cause it to float and spin around the crystals, and now Kez has kind of headed back down into the cave, and the rest of the party is slightly starting to retreat, besides Eider.
Yep.
I will stay on the cliff in case shit goes down to potentially run and yank Eider back from an explosion, but I am as far as is safely possible to be
getting
getting
around the corner, basically, just standing at the corner, so you have at least some rock between you and the what you're seeing. Okay.
Yeah, and I am still holding a flask of the holy water just as a precaution because there's very likely undeath stuff's gonna happen in Dom's mind.
And Ned, what were you gonna say?
If I was heading down behind Kez, would I be able to tell that he seems to be acting a little weird?
After kind of helping him down with the rope, and him actually successfully getting down, going down with him quite a little bit after, you see he looks to be seemingly he keeps whispering to himself about something or other. You're not catching it. It seems to be mumbled, but he seems to be staring down at the ground. It looks to be almost in thought every time you look over at him.
Definitely walking back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Now, don't take this the wrong way, Kez, but I think I'm gonna hold my quarterstaff in my hand.
Fucking Christ.
He begins mumbling to himself a little louder.
All things curse make a circle.
Yeah, alright. As Dom kind of finds themselves on the edge of the corner just enough to where they can still see Eider, seeing the little mouth of the cave at the bottom where Ned's kind of now just standing watching kind of Dom and standing with his stick, his quarterstaff in hand. while Kaz is walking back and forth in the cave, continuing to like go back and forth on who his god is, who's been talking to him this entire time, what's real, what's not, trying to figure out all the situation, mapping it in his head, having a full mental breakdown, basically. Ida, you're standing up there now by yourself.
Yep. This is a fun fucking time. Truthfully. Also, did you remember to
Yourself?
restart the recording?
I always do when I come back in.
No. Okay. Just want to make sure.
In distant company.
I back up as much as I can. Like, well, I know it doesn't fucking matter. Lyrium blows up for like a fucking quarter mile, so like, if I'm in this shit, I'm in this shit. Let's go. I'm going to attempt to aim for my blue lyrium spear, hoping that the lucky portion of it fucking helps in any way, shape, or form.
All right.
But we're going full blast.
Okay. So you're just tossing the spear in it? All right.
Well,
no, okay.
Yeeted the spear. The
All
spear
right.
is already part of the fucking constellation of bullshit at the moment.
Oh, I thought you would, and you said sphere. I thought you were talking about. My apologies. I was mixing it up. Yep. Never mind. Disregard me.
All good. So gonna try and blow up the lyrium spear and hope that the chain reaction is more favorable because I crafted it with blue lyrium.
Okay. All right. Give me an
That's the
attack with
spear.
your spellfire then.
18.
18
and
hits.
I can roll damage if you want.
Yep, please do, because the spear does technically have health, so.
Oh, trust me, it doesn't.
As you hold your hand out and a beam of pure raw magic just shoots out towards it, the light seems to almost hit immediately on the large expanded spear head, kind of floating about as a constellation amongst it. The light seems to bounce off of it, hitting each of the crystals, causing it to stop in the center. You watch as the lyrium spear head begins to crumple in on itself as your magic stops flowing through. Almost as it does, you begin to feel the magic from you begin to pull, and the beam begins to start going at once more. I need a fortitude save from you. This thing is starting to suck magic out of you that you don't have.
Oh no!
Oh.
Does this count as magic itself?
Yes, we'll say that for the answer. Make it easy.
20 total.
20. As you manage to hold on for a moment, feeling your body and feeling every piece of your life being pulled from you for a moment, gritting your teeth and refocusing your mind, you manage to hold the pull away and almost cause this force to pull off of you. As it does, though, you watch as the lyrium tip begins to crumple in on itself, creating what looks to be at first a black swirl of light that begins to open up and expand out as you start to see a creature with thick black bone-like fingers begin to pull its hand out. The creature looks to be gargantuan as you only see a bony hand coming through this portal.
Shit.
Is there a way to close this shit down?
Dom shouts over the loud, suddenly scream, the sounds of magic exploding.
You said it's a gargantuan bony hand, right?
Mm-hmm.
Could I because I don't think I could do anything else, could I attempt to keep the holy water at the portal to see if maybe that would disrupt it?
Are you gonna throw it from where you're at?
How far away am I? I can attempt to move close
say,
enough to throw.
Roughly about 90 feet away from with you being at the edge of in the turnaround.
What's the range on holy water flask?
I mean, you can throw it. It's not the range that's the issue. It's just if you're gonna chuck it, the DC goes higher the further away you are.
I will move 30 feet closer to throw it, and that's as close as
As
I
you
will
rush
get
up
to
right
what's
next to
happening.
Eider, as you see Eider kind of staring at and thinking, I imagine his eyes go kind of darting all over the place as he is trying to put together a plan in his head. Go ahead and give me a throw.
All right, let's see how this goes. 8.
Alright, as you go to
If anyone
chuck
wants to send me new dice, by the way,
the
I've
holy
used like
water
5 different sets.
about 10 feet in front of Dom, you watch as the holy water kind of gets grounded, almost as if something seems to force it down. What looks to be humidity kind of expanding out from the bottle as you hear it shatter, the glass break. The snow melts slightly, but nothing else seems to happen. Kez and Ned, down below to you. Kez, you begin to hear in your head the same voice you heard a moment ago. You need to run, child, now.
I need to get out of here. Just get away from the voice. Get away from the voices.
Ned, you hear the gosling. As Kez starts dead sprinting off back through the cave, you hear the sounds of the goslings honking in panic, even that's echoing through the cave.
I just yell back towards the mountain. I don't even know that they can hear me. Just, Kez is running. Gotta go. Start chasing after.
Eider and Dom, give me listen checks in the background as Kez and Ned start running around the corner as you come through the cave mouth, seeing where the ship is. Seeing where the ship is parked and kind of set down, you see almost immediately as you come around the Gosling seemingly standing on top of the ship. A shadowy figure kind of seems to be at the edge of the mouth of the cave, kind of looking over at you lot for just a moment as their hood kind of covers them. You can still see the covering around their ears around the outside of their hood that Dom had put on earlier as you recognize the individual you had gagged and tied up standing at the mouth exit of this cave, looking at you for a moment and then takes a step backwards and drops. Kez and Ned, as you see this, is there anything you'd like to do?
I need to.
So just get into the ship?
No, I want to see where he went.
Alright, as you rush over, Ned, what about you?
I'm looking real quick. See, I think there might be something I can do.
Okay. I'll give you a second, don't worry. And the side note, what was your, Dom, what was your listen check?
Yeah, I was just typing out. I got a 17 wisdom save.
Appreciate it. Wisdom save? I said listen.
Oh my gosh, Eider.
Hold up. Dumb. Not wisdom save, listen check.
Oh!
Yeah.
Let me, sorry.
Yeah,
I
no
don't
worries.
know how I even heard that. Great audio. I'll, let me just change my score. So I rolled
Not a problem.
that with a listen. Well, it's actually an 18 then.
Okay. Alright, good to know. Ned, jumping back to you, anything comes to mind?
Alright. So, can I see as the guy drops, where he's going?
He is just dropping off the side of the mountain, where this cave mouth opens out to, so...
Okay. So, I am going to go ahead and, shout out to Eider, because I just remembered this. I'm going to go ahead and use a level 2 spell slot, and cast Summon Nature's Ally 2.
Okay.
I would like to summon a hippogriff.
Oh shit, okay. A hippogriff just suddenly kind of appears next to you, Ned, as you kind of wave the quarterstaff about, a little bit of light kind of glowing, and the creature seems to come into existence and kind of looks at you as it perks up, frilling its feathers out and its wings expanding up for a moment, and just kind of waits for an order.
I would like it to go catch the guy that just dropped.
The hippogriff seems to go charging towards the cliff mouth where Kez is standing. Kez, give me a reflex save as you look down, seeing the cliff face straight down below you, seeing a body just laying there completely crushed and bleeding.
Oh, nat 20.
Nat 20. As you jump out off to the side, you watch as the hippogriff goes charging past you almost as out of nowhere. Not having seen this creature prior, it seems to have come out of nothing as it seems to just jump off and dive straight down towards where it looks to be a heavy patch of snow at the very base of the mountain. As you kind of look, seems to be there's some small little black figure that seems to be moving about and rushing away, but it's hard to tell what the creature is as the hippogriff is diving down towards it. All right. As the two of you kind of stand there, are you just kind of watch as this kind of happens, or are you getting into the ship just to make clear?
I'll get into the ship, sure, but I'll kind of stay on the top so I have a good view because it's not like I can fly this thing.
Okay. Yep. Staying above the deck, not going into the ship, kind of just staying next to the latch, watching and waiting, looking over the back end and seeing down the cliff, the backside of the mountain. You continue to watch as the hippogriff continues to fly straight down. Ned, what about you?
Yeah, I'll run towards the edge so that I can kind of see what's going on.
All right, as you go to the cave mouth opening down the ground, kind of watching and staring down, you watch as the hippogriff seems to be locked in on a very small target far beneath you at the the bottom of the mountain on the ground. That seems to be rushing as fast as it can east.
Diving.
All right, as we jump back over to Eider and Dom, you hear as Ned shouts out that Kez is running for and that Ned has to go really quickly as he turns and runs right as you drop, or as the holy water kind of clashes onto the ground. As Eider and Dom, as you hear this, and as Eider kind of looks at you, Eider, to answer your question, you are sure whatever this is a portal to a foreign plane, as you recognize the spell looks to be something, you've never seen a spell similar to this, but it's not hard to tell almost immediately that this is going to the plane of Moors. What is written in the books is basically the the 9 hells, but all and the abyss, all combined onto one chaotic platform of powerful beings fighting each other.
Gotcha. Is the focus of it the altar, or is it now independent?
It seems to be independent. So, from what you can tell, most of the magic is coming from the creature that's coming through it.
Wait, what the fuck? Oh no! Oh, that's really bad.
Oh. Dom or Eider, you can give me a knowledge religion as you see the face of this creature's black bones and chunks of white flesh kind of pop into view as the portal begins to slightly expand more, as the one skeletal hand seems to be pulling at the side of it.
Oh, nat 20 plus 1. Finally, I roll something decent, right while I'm staring death in the face.
I rolled abysmal. I got a 16.
Dom, you've only heard about these in Regan Utham's personal library. There was a book you remember finding as when you were younger and still spending a lot of time in most of your youth with him. You remember there was a small book about an explorer that was considered a mad mage, crazy, and mostly written off by Regan Utham, but something about the book always had kept the Regan's interest in it at the potential of its realism. It mentioned in there a being called the Smiling Demon, or the Smiling Devil, as it's been roughly translated. A creature that was said to collect coins from those it had slain, using it to code itself as well as to deal with other beings and other creatures. A creature wondrous and great power. It was said to be cunning, conniving, and quite evil, though very little was given on why these descriptors were what the individual who wrote the book described it as shortly after the description of the creature begins, and this individual talks about their time in Moors. the book begins to kind of panter off into strange discussions, and as Regan Utham put it, in mad tongue that made no sense to any scholar that he had ever met. The scripts kind of almost becoming undecipherable shortly after the mention of the creature being described as that.
So, it collects coins from those it kills, or is it explicitly only kills people with coin?
It collects coins from those it kills, is what it was described as.
And there was, I assume, before the book Descend into Madness, there was no mention of any potential, like, weaknesses or anything of the sort.
The only thing that otherwise would have been mentioned is that the coins are black in coloration and seem to scream when cracked and, like, split in half.
Oh. So Dom, like, kind of squints the eyes, sees the figure emerging, and you see his eyes go wide, and for the first time, Dom gets a look of, like, fear, and he immediately, like, turns to Ida and is like, okay, if you don't have a way to shut this, we need to leave. The figure, I don't know anything about them. There was one book, Utham kept it hidden, but I snooped around because of course I did as a kid. A smiling devil or a smiling demon, it collects coins from those it kills. But the coins, I believe they hold the souls of those it kills. If we stay here, who knows what it does to us. And Dom is going to, like, be backtracking towards the edge, like, ready to basically fucking book it.
Okay. Dom turns and starts running Ida after explaining this. Ida, you're left standing there kind of almost awestruck as Dom kind of rounds the corner waiting, kind of stopping and waiting and seeing if you're going to follow after or not.
Yeah. Did I get anything for my own roll, or?
For the 20... Well, yeah, that's why I mentioned what the spell was for your 27.
No, I sorry, you asked for the religion roll. I'd gotten 16.
Oh,
I was just checking if I had gotten anything.
With your knowledge of the creature's name and hearing this as Dom kind of explains this, something catches your attention. There's not an uncommon amount of lower caste members of Snowbeard Society who will seek magic and power through any means necessary. Demons are common to give deals and pacts and offers. You've never heard of something, though, of a coin of sorts, as it kind of catches your attention, but you are familiar, as you remember as a young kid trading, or your parents trading with an individual, a gentleman that, as you start to remember, kind of think for a moment, sits very similar to the description and the wanted posters you've seen of him, of Jakix Morin, though older and angrier looking. You recall something about your father trading in these coins, and you remember him telling you specifically that those who followed Sarazeki would always trade in these coins. But you don't remember what he called them.
Got it.
We so well, it's like soul coins.
My new favorite currency.
Quiet, Peter. Got it. And how? I guess to gauge, like, how much time, or how slowly is this figure emerging? Is it like a matter of seconds, or is it like?
It seems to be taking its time. The portal was quite small and is taking a good bit, even just to get this large skeletal claw through. Given the creature is gargantuan, and given the hand barely fits through the current portal, is trying to pull it open, not literally actually casting to expand it. You're pretty sure this creature is struggling to open this further. It's probably going to take a minute as the creature is expanding the opening.
Okay. And this definitely, like, this isn't an undead, just to clarify. Like, it doesn't...
Correct. Kez is not undead thing would have clicked when he was up there.
Okay. Just wanted to double check. Kicks. Okay. I like yell after Dom. I don't have a way to stop it, but I'm not leaving this altar intact for it.
don't care what you do to the altar as long as it doesn't come across.
I said,
Dom ducks back at the rock. This guy like not trying to get spotted by the creature.
just start sprinting hell for leather to try and like make it to the altar itself.
Yeah.
And I'd like.
Just give me a reflex check for trying to dodge out of the way of the hand as you get closer. It's going to try and grab at you.
I don't think I could help from a distance.
I don't suppose I could slap it with holy water.
Are you gonna throw holy water at the thing?
Well, like if it's like trying to like grab me.
Disrupt it.
If you, either if you want to try throwing holy water or try using it as part of it, would you roll for your reflex?
No.
13.
13. As you kind of grab it, having that holy water still on you, as you smash it against the hand as it goes to grab you, it seems to pause for a moment. As you watch, it seems to the holy water smokes and evaporates almost instantly, and you hear a loud laugh coming from the other side of the portal as it seems to pull back and starts to pull on the portal again, trying to expand it. On the other side, you can see the large, what can only be described as an amalgamation of eyes, flesh, and chunks of teeth and mouth and other, what you would assume would be humanoid parts, though they seem to get morphed and moved around similar to what you'd expect of an apparition-like creature. There is no rhyme or reason to it, and it seems to continue to jostle and move as it seems to try and pull its face closer. Face air quotes here, and one of the pieces of flesh opens up to show a red eye looking at you as the hand is like pulling at the portal.
I steal my resolve best I can, and I'm gonna attempt to use the hammer that I've, ensorcelled to the best of my abilities to crack the altar.
Okay. The stone of the altar or the crystal pillars, just to clarify?
Which seems to actually be like the source of like, cause I would assume like the stone would be like the centerpiece, but I tried throwing it at the stone and it didn't work with the spear. So it was like
the crystals are, as you look at them, they are made of solid lyrium, although unpure and definitely very thick. You can't see through them. Unlike what you've seen normally with the material you've handled. The stone, as you look below, with your stone cutting in the quick panic, it's easy to tell it's just normal marble stone. It's ornately designed, but this is just something that someone probably put together to make the ritual prettier.
Gotcha. So, like, its destruction isn't, like, foundational. It doesn't have, like, any runes or anything?
No, it does not seem to. The crystals themselves are the only things that seem to be pulsating with purple, like, shots of lightning, or light.
Gotcha. Well, I guess I'll start aiming for the crystals themselves.
Alright.
That's my ability.
Go ahead and give me a roll. Let's see what you got.
I mean, 7 hits an object.
Yep. roll damage.
And then I'd like to try and activate the colorium bit of it.
The red?
Extra. Yeah.
Yeah, as you pump what little magical energy you can feel that you have left into it and feel the hammer slamming, your arm speeding up as the reaction hits, hitting one of the crystal pillars. You watch as almost cracking it in half, the top chunk you smack into cracks at first under impact and then goes flying across and then eventually dropping off into the land below, disappearing with the light. As you look about, though, the portal begins to slowly close in, the magic seeming lessening as you do begin to watch. As it comes down and begins to close in on itself, you hear the creature, as it pulls its hand back through, go, "Your name, creature?"
No.
You hear a deep laugh kind of bellow from behind it as the portal is just about down to almost about the size, big enough to fit your pinky through. And you hear do you know Infernal, Eider? For language?
think so.
Okay. You begin to hear a strange twisting of the sounds of like flame beginning to spark, and as it does so, you feel on the back of your neck a something begin to carve itself into your skin and cause a bit beginning to cause it to bleed as something seems to be there. And the last words you hear in common are, "And now my followers will find you." At the same time as this happens, Dom, you also start to feel something being carved into the back of your neck. So do Ned and Kez.
As that happens, can Dom, I assume, seeing what's happening to Eider, attempt to use his own claws to disrupt what's being carved, like to basically tear his own flesh in an attempt to disrupt whatever is being branded into him?
Yeah, go ahead and give me an attack.
And I assume
Yeah, I was
protect
saying.
you from evil wouldn't stop this from happening.
Sorry, what was that?
My protection from evil.
This creature is not evil.
What? I feel like it's bullshit.
It's not.
It's
Specifically,
not
the
evil.
type of creature it is cannot be evil.
Okay, Shit.
Is it good?
I mean, I am letting it happen.
You don't have
but
protection
that's
from
all
good
I
to
really
answer
got.
that question. so sorry to tell you. Sorry, what was that, Dom?
I was gonna say, I am letting it happen, but I did
Okay.
roll a 5 total, because my dice...
Yeah, Dom, as
continue to hate
you
me.
go and try and tear and attack at your skin, feeling your claws tear at it, the skin tears away, but as it does so, you feel the bits of kind of like new chunks of flesh that are just starting to grow under. They're starting to kind of not bleed, but weep. As you didn't manage to tear past the first couple layers of skin, thankfully, but as you do, you can feel the mark seems to go deep, feeling it almost as you move each muscle around the area. It seems to have imprinted itself further down. As you kind of continue to rub your hand against it, you do feel it disappears after a few more moments.
The bleeding or just the sensation?
The mark and the sensation all together.
I don't trust that it isn't there.
This goes for either Kez and Ned. As we jump over to Kez and Ned for a moment as this is going on. Kez and Ned, before you feel this pain, feel this mark kind of beginning to imprint on you, you watch as the hippogriff goes flying down and seems to grasp hold of something, bringing it back up. The creature flying at immense speed seems to catch up quite quickly and toss the body back on towards the ship behind Kez as it goes rolling and stumbling in. Kez, you see the same cloak of the figure that you'd seen previously as he was gagged and bound as the hippogriff lands kind of a few feet away next to where Ned is down below. He kind of like
I'll go down to investigate. I'll go down there with him.
Okay.
Look at him.
Yeah. He's on the ship in front of you at this point. Ned's down, just down below with the hippogriff. After it tossed it past, it just went down to go stand with him, having done its
okay.
job. Yep, it
Gotcha.
followed its orders.
And the man's dead.
He, as you look at him, he is not. I will mention the body you had seen, that I had mentioned you had seen, it was not the same individual. It just happened to be a same cloak. Or a similar cloak. But this is the same. This looks, as you look at him, kind of as he scrambles over, you see the bits of frost giant beard fluff, kind of just now starting to kind of scruff on the young individual's chin. It's pretty clear this individual is still somewhat breathing. He's not speaking though, as his mouth is shut and he's pulling his hood to cover his face as much as possible. What are you gonna do, Kez? Or Ned?
So he is no longer like bound and gagged.
No. He does still have the
What?
bounding around his ears, though.
Gotcha. Oh.
Yeah, you can still see it. So it does still cover his ears and his eyes slightly.
Let me see if I can do anything.
I heard you say, "What god?"
Yeah, but you said I assume you can't hear me then if his.
Never
Ears
said
are-
that. I just said that you can still see the wrapping that Dom put around his ears.
Okay. What god do you serve?
Roll me a diplomacy. Or are you trying to intimidate this individual?
No, I'd rather listen. I'm far more diplomatic than I am scary.
Okay.
Let's see here. I'd rather use my plus 15 instead of a plus 5.
That's fair.
That would be 28.
28. As you say this, he kind of covering his face. You hear in a young voice that slightly cracks, goes, my god, it's the great Pyro. He was an ancient necromancer. Supposedly, came down here and helped the people who came here before the Regan. He's buried in the mountain as our protector. It's just a god of undeath. I just want to bring my mom back.
How did that work out for you?
Well, horribly. My mother turned into a wyvern skeleton and didn't take to the body we had offered, and then the creature came out and stole my brother's soul, and a coin popped out of him, and then, and my mother started yelling and giving me orders and telling me to raise creatures that were just around the mountain, and I don't remember much after that.
Okay. I'm going to take you to the Regan.
He'll kill me.
You're going to help him. He wants you alive.
So
if he kills you, do you think you deserve that punishment?
No! My mother was killed we were driven out unjustly. He just didn't agree with our beliefs. He worships a foreign god and refuses to accept our practices, and said we were nothing but evil outcasts. His messenger Boloff gave it told us all of this and kicked us out. Almost 200 of us were exiled from the territory.
Olaf was recently kicked out by Regan himself for not exactly being the most trustworthy of allies.
He nods and goes, yes, he's a follower of that smiling creature.
So then do you think that Utham didn't actually cast you out?
I believe the Regan would have. My father was not exactly on his what most loved amongst his members, and was already at ends with the Woodwalkers. We were already on having issues. The Regan does not accept those who follow foreign gods.
He's been quite accepting of me.
Yeah, no wonder you've got the prince, the apple of his eye. The only thing he's got to defend in this world. It's got to be nice growing up privileged.
Well, let's hope you have enough information to give him to assist with this threat for you to stay alive then.
I won't go and see the Regan. I refuse. He doesn't move as he kind of still kind of leaning on his back a bit. Yes.
Fine. I won't take you to the Regan. Okay?
Really?
Yep, I will not take you to the Regan.
So you're gonna make one of your friends take me?
No, none of us will take you to the Regan.
He looks at you and goes, I don't trust you. The last time my mother said something similar for tricking me, and I got put here and lost my brother, and my father ran off.
Well, listen. You don't want to die.
As you say, you don't want to die. Ned and Kez, you both begin to feel the burning and the carving into your neck of something almost immediately. He looks up at you as you kind of wince back in pain and goes, oh no, you're marked. It's too late now. Regan won't let you back. What'd you say?
What does the mark mean?
You'll be hunted by his followers. Just like we were when we came out here and we ran amok with him. My mother made a deal with him. We got marked, and now every time we go anywhere we go, we're being tracked. I know those wolves will find us. The Regan won't take you though now.
Hunted by your god?
No.
And his follower? And the smiling demon?
You see him smile and start laughing, and at the same time, you can hear the drepselates of water hitting the ground as you can see heavy tears coming from this kid's face as he's laughing, and goes, "His followers are coming. Those you know them already. I can see it in your eyes. You've met one."
I'm gonna smack him up the head with my hammer to knock him out.
Okay, as you step forward, roll me an initiative check. Just for that.
Right. Man, what is my +2 gonna give me? And that would be a 12.
As you rush forward, yeah, go ahead and give me a swing on him.
Okay. $21.
21. That hits. They are in 1 point of damage. I'm not going to make you roll for damage since you're doing non-lethal. But as you swing, hitting him in the side of the head, you hear the thunk and drop as you not only see it. Ned, down below, as the hippogriff is kind of leaning up against you and like rubbing up against your hand as much as it can, you hear the sounds of up above of the conversation, and then the thunk as the individual like drops to the wood.
Ned, let's prepare the ship for liftoff.
All right, I'm coming.
As you climb up aboard and start getting down below and looking about, getting everything moved about and checking on the goslings to make sure they haven't destroyed anything. Dragging the individual down. I assume, Kez, are you putting him back in the barrel?
No, I don't want to, for some reason, a magic funky wonky thing to make him disappear in said barrel. So I'm gonna just set him down, pretty much fucking hog-tied to the nines.
Okay, give me a used rope.
Sit there watching him.
Okay. As you wait for the other two to come back. Yep.
21 again.
All right. As you begin to tie him to one of the chairs, roping him up after a little bit, you and Ned kind of get him set to aside in one of the corners on the top deck, with the captain's quarters and the pilot's seat, looking and kind of sit yourselves up comfortably as you wait for the rest of the party. Ned, is there anything you wanted to do while Kez kind of sits down, or sets this guy up, tying him up, and sits down?
I will just stand over top of him with the bog stick.
Okay. Kind of waiting, ready, looking at him. Kez sitting across from him, staring at him, waiting for him to come to consciousness to see if he does anything. Okay. All right, we'll jump back over to Dom and Eider. Eider and Dom, as you watch the portal slowly finally close, the lyrium around you, Eider, begins to crack and shatter to the ground, losing its coloration and going a dull gray as it cracks apart and falls. Your spear is nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, I imagine it vaporized from existence.
Mm-hmm. As the portal closed, I assume, Dom, you'd come around the corner to come up to where you see Eider kind of standing amongst the crystals.
Yeah, I imagine Dom is still, like shocked from whatever's happening, so he's kind of walks, quick, but it's like, he's got a look on his face of shell shock, like, that just happened, and he's still processing, still figuring out what to do. And Eider would just see the tips of his fingers and the tips of the gloves just soaked red with his own blood from having tried to claw his own skin off, and he just looks at the mess and looks at Eider. I hope Reagan Utham can help whatever that was. Because if he can't, we've got a bigger issue than your bounty. And just kind of looks grimly back at the crystal pillars.
Problems on top of problems.
Seems to be how the world works.
Like, Ryder like reaches back and like gingerly like pokes at like the back of his neck. Imagine like there's no like visible or like
Nope.
extended mark on my other.
Nope, now at this point it has dissipated.
Gotcha. Could I do like a knowledge points to identify like possibly any part of the defect?
Yeah. I'll take a knowledge plane square.
Sweet. 26.
It's not. There's very little mention about the plains and the other areas. Mostly madmen. The few scholars, even amongst the collective, who are recognized as experts, are considered to be insane at the best of times, and most of their writings are discredited. Now, that's not to say that the collective has not published their writings, and therefore their books do find themselves commonly amongst nobles' collections due to the rarity and the value of the individuals. Infamy as a crazy or an insane scholar. As you take a moment to think back, there's a few that your family's clans would have kept more as collector's pieces and having seen before. Having read a bit about it, you would know that it's not uncommon for beings from Moors who make pacts and deals for individual souls, both in aggression and supposedly in a kindness or a gift, as it's usually described, though gift, as you would later read, is a very loose term, mostly given to those who are writing about it, as they may be gifted with great abilities, but the curse they cause on others is not a great fair trade-off. However, it's not uncommon for those to be marked that have by another individual of a foreign plane as their property or as their prey.
Gotcha. Well, seems like we're marked. Regan seems an academic sort. Might know more of it, but we might be on our own. I don't know. This has been a day. I just like petulantly like kick at the altar.
Kind of as you kick at, you hear the stones slightly crumble a little bit. Some crystals fall up the side. A very rewarding sound of a small rock hitting a couple of chunks of mountain down. It kind of rumbles a bit.
This, I don't know how this ties into everything else, but that creature, whatever its followers are, might be a bigger threat than the one I'm aware of. And if those two are in cahoots, let's just say it's far above our abilities, but very well could mark the end of the world. I suggest we see what our allies are up to. No doubt on the ship.
It just kind of nods, sighs. And like, I guess right before I leave, I'd like to just kind of, casually break the other four pillars before.
Mm-hmm. As Dom kind of steps off the pillar, as you start cracking them one by one, kind of kicking them off the sides, just into the snow on top of the mountain, thinking no one else is going to come up this far and digging around this area, at least not for a while. Yeah?
Let's say, as Eider breaks and Dom helps, can he try to salvage at least a shard to show to like Utham later or something? Might be of use.
Taking a chunk of it, it's just a raw, unfiltered and not cleaned up lyrium. So, although it is quite dense, as you take a chunk of it, about a pound of it in your hand, after Eider kind of smashes the top off one of them that goes crumbling down.
Does it still have the purple type
It does not. They are
effects around it?
no, they are
Okay.
grayish in color and almost look to be completely dense, like without any coloration coming from them.
Cool. I'll still pocket it, but I'm assuming it's probably useless.
As you do, and as Eider finishes up smashing about the altar, the two of you start to walk away, heading towards the ship, and kind of heading down below. As you kind of slowly navigate your way down, you find yourself back to where the previous horde was, where you had found the young son originally, kind of piled up on a bunch of items. As you look in that same area, there is a pile of. It takes a rough glance, but you'd say maybe 1,000 to 2,000 black coins that begin to emanate and give slight screams that are just loud enough that you can pick them up, but still faint enough to where they don't seem to echo throughout the cave. That you see Dom and Eider as you come into the cave itself.
Well,
You said about 1,000?
1,000 to 2,000, yeah, roughly.
Can Dom come over and he's not very magical, but inspect to sense with whatever innate abilities he might have with his curse, his condition, if these do contain souls or if these are something else?
As you get closer, however, you watch as the coins almost vanish, turning back to nothing but the pile of rocks that were there.
Great. Now we're seeing things.
Eider, you do watch as Dom gets closer. The coins also vanish for you.
no, I saw that too. Admittedly, they might only show up to those that have been marked, which would pause, think for a moment, and say, I mean, might be making something up, but it could be that they're only visible if you're marked, and that the Wyvern and her company, her ilk, are going to come back for them. That's what I hope anyway, because it'll make me feel marginally better for having fucked her day up nearly as much as she's fucked up mine.
Could Dom attempt to reach for where they were and see if he comes into contact with anything like phantasmal, anything that's like invisible?
As you lean down to grab, Dom, I need a will save.
Oh, something's happening with my rolls today. We'll see how this goes. Alright. No ad. I'm not interested.
All of the ads.
Oh no. Nat 1 for 7, because the dice love me. This is my 6th set of dice, guys.
Dom.
Or my 7th.
I'm gonna,
DM me something.
Yeah.
Oh, joy. I'm starting to worry Dom's conversation with Eider might have been of importance after all. Oh, okay.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered
Just
here.
a question.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I am sending a message. I don't know if it's coming through.
It did not. There it goes. You cannot. There is nothing there as you lean forward. You just manage to kind of, as you move your hand about, you kind of tap a rock and it seems to move. The rock seems to move, but there's nothing there.
Okay, one more follow-up question before I say what Dom does. Okay. Cool. So Dom, kind of hunches down and, is feeling at the rocks, and his claws his bloody claws kind of dig into the stone with, a bit of a scraping sound, and you just hear like just a noise of some kind of frustration that sounds a little bit not human, but still human enough. It's not like he's become something else, and he just kind of stands up and very slowly cracks his knuckles, cracks his neck, cracks his other knuckles, and to the ship. And we'll begin walking without another word.
Alright, Eider, as you see this, are you going to do anything?
Yeah. Walk up and inspect it, because that was fucking weird.
I would say,
Yeah.
Dom does keep his back to Eider.
Alright.
I do not address him at all.
As you start walking further in the cave and kind of go around the corner, Eider, as you look down, yeah, you see the pile has vanished. There's nothing there. You can see the claw marks otherwise. What do you want to do for as far as looking around? Are you just looking, or are you going to be trying to do anything?
Yeah, just kind of kick at the spot where it was.
Okay, give me a will save.
I swear, Eider, if we both get the same thing.
That would be fucking funny. Magic
Yes.
one. Okay. Where's no? There it is. 21.
Okay, I'm going to ping you something.
Imagine that's still a failure.
Doom!
Eider, you feel totally normal.
That's what that's what Kez gets every once in a while. Just a quick message of, hey, good, you're good, don't worry. Probably misspelled that second word. No, surprisingly I didn't. Yeah, there you go.
Just to clarify, they're still not there, though, right?
Nope, there's nothing there. You don't feel a reaction.
That was probably exactly what I was fucking clarifying. Oh no. Oh no.
No, that's fair. That's fair. That was admittedly what I was already.
Yeah, your emotions are just a bit more strong now at this point. As you kind of kick about, nothing there, and kind of turn. Are you gonna head back after?
Oh no.
Are you gonna fall after Dom?
Oh yeah, I'll just follow Dom's path of just random destruction, blow a gout of flame over where the things used to be, and then leave.
Okay. As you do so, nothing seems to happen. Though, as you turn and start walking away and following after, the mountain begins to start to slowly rumble once more. Kez and Ned, you feel the rumbling as you see out the... Ned is standing, looking, I assume, or forward towards the glass, can see as Eider and Dom kind of come around, or out of the cave tunnel. Both of them seemingly, looking, thinking, and deep in thought as they come walking up towards the side of the ship. Eider's last comment as you hear it echo through the tunnels of, hey, yo, fuck this cave. Echoes through as you climb aboard the ship. The two of you climb down into the top, or onto the top deck, seeing Kez and Ned Kez sitting across from this individual who's tied to a chair, and Ned standing behind with his quarterstaff raised above, waiting for the signal from Kez. As you enter in onto the top deck. Or first deck. Mm-hmm.
Just give a confused look around, but the cavern says that it's time to leave, and it's not being very polite or patient about it. So I start the airship before I start asking questions.
As you can back in the airship up, hearing the sounds of crumbling coming behind you, the airship backs out of the mountain pretty easily, pulling back and turning around. As you start to take away, you see a distant, probably roughly a few miles out, but due to the clear skies, it looks like there are three large figures flying away in the west. Opposite direction of where you're going, if you're going back to the city.
Yeah. I don't fancy trying to chase down dragons that are faster than us and fighting them in the open air. That sounds retarded.
Okay. As you lot kind of start flying or heading off, it's going to be about 7 days at least before you're going to get to the Regan city of Velcomen. Are you planning to do, or is there anything anybody would like to do for downtime, or anything you guys would like to do in between as you start to head off in that direction?
First, of course, during that time, I'll make sure I tell Eider things that I was told. Oh, whoops.
Kez just got a phone call and is Crystal. Give him a minute.
Yeah, I'm telling Eider about all the things that I to be said about the conversation between me and this fucking necromancer.
Who's still unconscious.
Gotcha.
Yeah, good.
There's like a cage. I just like turned to the others, like, well, we can either keep beating him unconscious, feeding him, and then not letting him pray, or we can just wake him up every 3 hours. You don't get enough rest. You can't rest. You can't figure that out.
He probably had enough rest when he was tied up. So, what? Get back. Until we turn him over to the guards.
Every once in a while, it kind of like comes to, and you hear Ned go, "Oh, bonk."
Good job, Ned. Good job.
He's not gonna have any braces left.
It sounds like Ned. Like Ned's hitting him hard enough. It sounds like a baseball cracking onto a bat, wooden bat.
Yeah, and
Don't worry, I got him.
whenever he takes him down, I provide medical attention to make sure it's no lasting damage.
Like over clearing up the blood, to casting spells to close the wounds.
Yeah,
A little trauma will never hurt anybody. You'll be fine.
Yeah, hey, you're lucky I'm a good doctor.
He's already not as smart as the average smart.
Listen, at least I'm here to make sure you don't have a brain bleed.
Good boy. But I was about to say, he's already not smart as the average frost giant. and that's not a good fucking start point.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
So, I promised him none of us would hand him over to the Regan. So that means we're just going to give him to the guards to hand him over to the Regan.
Yes.
Would I,
Go ahead, no?
if we have a week of downtime, would I be able to do anything like feat-wise in that time, or is it not?
You can
enough?
train
I
a single
like a week
time for a one success per feat. Yeah, because it's basically it's a week of downtime to train or to get one for each chance at rolling. So, yeah,
Okay.
if you want to PM me the feat, if it's one I've already given
Yeah.
you the rolls for, then you can just use those and go ahead and roll in the background.
Yeah, I'm going to use this
has
week
not
to
been,
maintain
but I'll
security
keep
on
it.
this guy.
Okay. You guys can send me your rolls post-session. I'll kind of give you your information afterwards. Or you can write them down, and I'll reply after session. Cool. You guys have the week of downtime. It's going to be mostly going about relaxing amongst your ship as you begin to kind of go in mostly rotations of guard duty with the individual. With the Goslings seemingly taking care of themselves, Ned kind of dragging the prisoner every once in a while down below so he can sleep, still holding the stick next to him so he can still smack the individual if he hears them wake up. The slight sounds of snoring from Ned can be kind of heard rumbling every once in a while, and as you hear the occasional voice of the individual kind of coming to, again, the baseball crack is heard throughout the entire airship as Ned shouts back up again.
The Goslings are definitely making sure that Ned is alerted. He wakes.
Okay. Yeah. As you spend the time kind of relaxing, kicking back, on the 7th day, you do finally come to the outskirts of the Velcomen, seeing the mountain. Thankfully, the weather has been keeping clear, no heavy clouds, no nothing. As you can see the city, the mountain of Velcomen, coming into view. 4 airships come almost flying out of the city. These things look to be designed to go into mass raids. You'd guess these are designed for almost 200 crew members. As these airships come flying out, the Regan's own house sigil painted across their sails. It's not hard to distinguish Regan Utham on top or in the front or on the front ship, as he seems to stand at the front bow as the almost what you'd gather, Dom, from a quick appearance. The entirety of the Woodwalker clan seems to be at the backing of Regan Utham as he comes flying towards you lot, or seems to be flying in your direction. Either the ship, you're still piloting the ship at this point. You have Dom, Kez, and Ned, I'd assume, would be all up here at this point upon shouting to let them know that the Regan's ships were coming.
Yeah. Just in case they try and kill us.
Can Dom make sure he's like on deck as foremost in front as he can be, just so he could be spotted? Because he knows Utham has incredible perception.
You're gonna go outside?
Oh, you're gonna go onto the top deck? You'll have to give me a reflex save. There's glass at the first deck of the.
Well, I mean, Dom has. I was gonna say, Dom has seen these ships. I assume he could tell when they're in like attack mode, right? These very much don't look like they're peacefully approaching us. I don't imagine.
Correct. The cannons are all out. They can clearly be seen that they're being manned as well. Regan Utham does not look at all pleased, even from this distance.
Guys, I'm going up so I can be spotted. They're going to attack us otherwise. If I start to fall, someone grab me, and I'll make that reflex save.
Alright. I say, does anybody want to tie off Dom, or like,
Yeah, just like hand Dom a rope, and just like...
Yeah. Dom is...
off like one of like the load-bearing beams of the ship or something.
The staircase would be a good one, as it's a beam that goes almost to the top. Yeah, as Dom, you tie yourself off, what'd you get for your reflex save?
I got a 14. Dice still hate me.
Does anyone want to do the used rope, or are we gonna for that? Who's tying off Dom, just for my own note?
We could just take a 20, admittedly.
Is that the plan?
Yeah, let's take a 20, guys. I don't think any of us are particularly dexterous besides Dom.
Dom is not that dexterous, as you've seen.
I am dexterous, my dice all hate me.
As that's fine by me. As you kind of decide to take the 20, tying off the rope with Kez and Ned kind of assisting with it, watching as Dom climbs above onto the top deck. Dom, you watch as the front airship, that's about 5 decks worth of cannons and then a cargo bay and a top deck. This is an airship that you'd probably guarantee this is the pride and joy of the entire fleet that Utham is riding in on.
That's fucking like tip of the line. That's first rate right there.
I mean, it doesn't take much either to guesstimate that airship's probably at least 5 times the cost of what yours is running on.
Ours is priceless.
It's true. It is a unique model, but as the airship kind of comes closer, you watch as it comes within millimeters of yours, either almost as the ship seems to keep pace as it turns, circles around, it comes to the side. Regan Utham seems to be standing there with what looks to be individuals coated in heavy metal armor, many of it being blue like cobalt, some mixed in with bits of purple and chunks of blackened metal. This does not look like Regan Utham's normal bodyguard. This looks like some sort of royal guard that's capable.
Would I have recognized them, or is this a new
You've
type
never
of royal
seen
guard?
these folks before.
Okay.
I will say one of them, due to the one mission I took these people on, DM, would have the skull of that figure that we killed a while ago. A very large, bald skull on his belt.
Oh, the fairy? No. What was it?
No, Rodgo, whatever his name was.
Oh, yes. Okay.
The next line to be Kobold King?
Yep. The large kobold skull seemingly prominently being shown as a piece, as one of them carries it about, looking like almost like a shield of sorts that's been made as a head mount. The skull protrudes out. It's quite large and almost can be mistaken simply as a landworm or a drake.
I wish we could talk under better circumstances. Would you like to come sit down and speak? Well, I suppose I'd have to come onto your ship, but either way.
Well, I have no intention, and neither does my party, to do anything but talk, Reagan. Whatever ship must be boarded, let us know. And Dom gives kind of a classic, but especially deep, like respectful bow, like he's showing he is completely compliant.
Do I think I can fit on
And
their
he is
ship? I'm quite a bit taller.
I say you are pretty.
As you look
tall.
over at the entrance, Regan, you are almost 100% sure you would not fit through the hole to get into the airship.
We'll escort you to land, then we can speak.
Dom
We have
nods and kind of leans
much.
down, and I will shout that to Eider to relay, and to the others, I suppose.
Okay.
Alright. As you guys start to follow after, it takes a bit of time as the warships go in ahead of you and kind of land. A docking area seems to be cleared, specifically as an airship is moved out of the way and sent through the large portal to Diamond's Death just to make space. Either side looks to be clear, as there is no ships kind of being allowed to be put next to yours as you come into dock, either kind of being signaled on where to go. Thankfully, at this point, you're capable enough with the airship. You don't really need to do any more checks on it for like just landing in day to day. This seems to be an easy float in as you come landing in without issue. The guards kind of surrounding the ship as you land.
Like, very confused. Like, gotta clamber.
Dom will be the
go ahead.
first one off the ship, just to be unless Kez would disagree. I was saying
No,
I would
go
take
for
the
it.
forefront just so I'm most at risk. Yeah, Dom kind of like puts a hand on Kez's shoulder, like, I'm aware you're the party's face, but please, let me go ahead. I'm a little bit more politically safe. And gives it another pat, and will be the first one off. You know, hands not completely raised, but like idly up, so they can see I'm not like touching anything on my belt
Okay.
or reaching for anything.
Who follows after Dom as you see Dom head up?
I'll be following after Dom with the necromancer.
Okay. Still tied to the chair, or are you gonna let him actually
No,
walk?
Well, I'm not letting him walk, that's for sure.
You're gonna carry him?
By the chair.
Strap him to my back.
Okay.
Not really.
Oh, okay.
More like toss him around.
All right. How much can you carry? What's your heavy capacity?
Well, how did we move him in the first place?
Dragging him in.
Gotcha.
We saw Ned's strength score
I
earlier.
can help pull up. You push, I pull, we get him up there.
Yeah, we'll work together.
Okay. All right. As the two of you go up, Eider and Ned, are you also heading up?
Yeah.
Okay. Ned.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you leaving the Goslings, Ned?
Yes, I'll leave the Goslings.
Okay. As you climb or head up onto the up above, kind of following down the ship on the sides, you see as the entirety of Regan Utham's army seems to almost be surrounding your ship. Many with spears, swords, staves at the ready as they seem to be waiting as the Regan comes walking forward. The soldiers seem to split, even without him giving an order, focusing their attention and keeping it still on you. They step aside, letting him through. His royal guard right behind him, all looking somewhat larger and meaner and angrier than the rest of Regan Utham's personal army. But as you come forth seeing this group, you see the necromancer on the ground. Clear as day to tell that this individual is a caster, given the heavy cloak. He is clearly unconscious.
I do not come with any good news for multiple reasons.
Neither do we.
To keep it simple, you've each been marked by a creature that I can't do much about, and that my own god is afraid of. I know very little about this creature, only that it is known as the Cataclysm. You being here any longer than necessary would bring great danger to my people. As they'll just kind of stare at the group and see what they how they react.
Dom is completely blank face, neutral, very much like a soldier receiving commands, or like a child who is aware that there's something wrong and that they're basically being scolded for it. He's very much making it intentional to not show any emotion and is just kind of stood in a very attentive, like stiff pose. How about the others?
Ider seems very, very, very distracted and just like whips his head around, like just like kind of like scans the city, like his brow just knitting in deep concern and consternation. You could kind of clearly tell something took his focus away, and he did not clock whatever was being said.
Oh.
I see. You will be welcome into the city to at least get whatever supplies you need, for whatever you must do. And you will be rewarded for your quest, but I can't do much more.
How long do you intend to give us?
When does the expedition leave?
I said, give him a second. He's thinking. When does the expedition leave? For your own notes, because you'd already know this in character, it would be leaving at the end of this month.
Well, because I know when we left, like, a week ago, it was the end of the month, so...
It was not. It was the 15th, so with 7 days on top of that, that would be... apologies, I can't do simple math for some reason. The 22nd. So now it is getting closer. They are going on the first day of the new month, basically, or the last day of the month, you're unsure. As it was never clarified specifically.
So I guess we could... I mean, worst case scenario, we could camp out and wait for the expedition to leave.
I think we're getting ejected from town. I don't. All right, also, I don't think we're allowed to go on the expedition anymore.
I never thought it would be in this town. Not being booted from the lands, just out from the towns.
Yes, for clarification, I just need you away from the majority of my populace. It is simply no longer safe. I don't know if I could fight the higher followers of this thing that now marked you.
Yeah. Chastin, Utham's god is Durali, right? Or is it a different thing?
Nope.
It is not Durali.
You would know already, Kaz, from your time in the city that they worship the Great Golden God, is what most of the commoners call it.
Gotcha. So,
you would
see...
So
here's the player.
Huh?
You'd see Utham with a golden coin linked on a necklace.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so, honestly, it's kind of strange then how... Because, I mean, I know about Durali. Well, Kaz doesn't know about... Me as the player, I wonder how that god was able to... I guess it's not a god then, if it was able to interact with us like that. This Durali would have not allowed it, I hope.
Oh, so it's stronger than her.
Vegan Utham, you've always been kind to me. There are black coins in your city.
Black coins. DM, would Utham know anything about black coins?
Yeah, so black coins are commonly marked as those who are followers, most often pillars of Cataclysm would be the term. Kind of in the sense how you would consider yourself an apostle to your own god. those who would serve Cataclysm are most commonly use these coins as a show of their power amongst the rank in their church and their beliefs. More often, those who collect a lot, and a lot would be more than like 5 or 10 in one lifetime, are considered to be like pillars of this church, like major threats to the group or to other religions.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. What about these black coins that these heretical followers carry?
After our adventures, I sense their presence in the city.
I'm not
They
surprised.
contain souls.
They seem to be
They're tied to
everywhere these
whoever it
days.
is.
Speaking of souls, as Uthan turns to look at Kaz, they're just rumors, but if they're true, I have bad news for you. There are rumors that the majority of the followers of your god have either been killed or have vanished. I don't know how many.
What of a cleric?
And I would not be surprised if these two things, your marking and that, are tied together. If this thing keeps coins and souls, well, I'm sure you can put the rest together. It's common sense, after all.
Ader,
Yes?
these coins. You said you found some in the cave?
We saw them. They vanished immediately whenever we drew near. And then I think Dom and I both checked to make sure it wasn't an illusion. I was just filled with repugnance whenever I drew near. I'm not sure what Dom felt. But the coins
How many were
themselves
there?
never reappeared. Thousands, a mound of them. They vanished as we grew near. We didn't have the opportunity to carefully count them.
Enough to be a lot of souls, and I don't know whether they were real or not, but like Aiter, I too can sense them now. Perhaps a trap or a trick or just some kind of warning from whatever this being is. But they can't mark anything good.
Could be that they can't give without take, or can't take without giving. Well, in a sense. Just kind of wins.
Reagan, it would endanger the kingdom to stay here, wouldn't it? Not just this city, but your lands.
I don't know how soon this creature's going to act. I've been preparing for an eventuality, but we're not nearly ready.
Where can we go where we can help you but not harm your kingdom? And Dom's kind of just has this grim, again, very intentionally neutral, no emotion, like expression.
I would still send you on the expedition. Despite the risk, I think the followers of this creature are already there, and they need help clearing them out. I won't let Og stay in danger.
We have more bad news.
Yeah.
In fact, we have probably a good few minutes of telling you bad news.
May as well do this now. Go ahead.
There is something. I think it might be an egg. That's hard enough that adamantine can't crack it.
An egg?
That's the size of... And I point at the airship.
DM cannot. What do you want me to roll?
Not again. God damn this fucking egg. Oh my god, the biggest misunderstanding I've ever had. Yeah, go ahead and give me
A
shoot
rock
knowledge
with a weird
nature.
core.
Oh,
Look, it looks like it had an
Mention the core.
embryo, an outer shell, and an inner shell. That's an egg.
Let's
Mention the core. The core.
Oh yeah, it had a core of electricity.
yeah, I got a 50.
as they describe this, none of this makes any or rock-like sense. Maybe an organic creature. Everything they're describing, the best you could guess is maybe it's a rock from from the stars beyond.
Oh my.
It's an egg.
The only thing you're 100% sure of is this is not an egg, and this party is not very bright.
I just
Yeah.
sigh, and I just go, that's a meteor.
I don't know about that. It reformed after I touched it and dug away part of it.
Oh, so it's full of special metal. Excellent.
It also shocked me whenever I tried to touch it.
Yeah, some metals do that.
The inside was also moving.
Where exactly is it? Azutham pulls out a map.
Like pull out like the counter map and just like start like listing it off. Oh, also there's a mine of metal that devours light.
Devours light.
Yeah, I wouldn't let the necromancers just kind of have free reign about it. Maybe pick it up sooner than later if you can.
Yes, we should mention the undead dragons and wyverns.
I was gonna say, Dom was about to cut in with that information because it's arguably more pressing.
Look, all of it's pressing. The order doesn't matter. We'll get to it all.
Yeah, as he shows the point of the
Very
mine. I will mention the mention of dark metal is something that's been kind of going around as a rumor as of recent. The one thing that you know for that Regan Utham is that when you were in your the Sea of Night, and one of the after effects of the attack from Jakix was that dark metal wasn't prevalent, but pieces of silver that you had previously dug up had started to darken in its coloration. Not enough for it to have any effects, but the silver just, no matter how much it was hammered away, forged, nothing would change its coloration.
I mean, I'm certainly willing to reward you for this mine, but if it's an undiscovered metal that we don't know exactly what it does, actually, as I look at all the fire giant members of the party, I might have an idea of how to reward you. The cold hurts, does it not? The various creatures here.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can get you all
Definitely
equipment
not
to
my
help with that.
favorite feeling.
Yes, we have equipment here to help with the damaging cold of creatures. I'd be willing to prepare some for all of you if you wanted, or just the fire giants if that's what you prefer. As I look at the Snowbeard, who's definitely cold resistant.
So you know enough about snowbeards at this point to know that, yeah, they love the cold as much as frost giants. In fact, the two are almost comparatively complementary when it comes to the temperatures they like.
Yep.
I'm just gonna like shake my head. If you're not picky, I'd take help rigging up a forge to my airship.
I suppose I can have someone help with that. It's the least I can do.
Groton kind of sets the very heavy skull shield down and nods at the mention and kind of starts turning back and kind of going with the group of bodyguards that were with Utham and seem to dissipate amongst the crowd. You do notice the troops are starting to relax and back away, though they aren't leaving or going very far from Regan Utham as he's kind of being given more space. Now the army sees you're not a threat.
Yeah.
Reagan, there is worse news.
Utham just stares very flat at you.
Even worse news,
There-
I threw up.
Was a undead dragon, the bone wyvern, and another wyvern. The disgraced guard we met explained the wyvern was his wife. She was brought back by Jakix. Some kind of collar and lantern she has ties her there. This, he gestures to the prisoner, one of her children. Her eldest was, in his words, killed or taken, the guard, mentioned she's in ties with OT. And he kind of stares Uther a little bit harder at the mention of that name. They're in cohorts.
Oh, not Ote.
Yeah, not Odie.
Oh, fuck.
Utham kind of furrows his eyebrows at disgraced guard, and he just goes, I don't have any disgraced guards.
Yes, the young man told me that Olaf cast out a whole bunch of believers under your call.
Of course he did. Wasn't
Yeah,
bad
but
enough
try to-
he joined that Jakix Morin fellow, and most already fucking...
Yeah, I tried to tell him that Olaf was a traitor, but he seemed to believe that his people would have been cast out anyways.
But that leaves a bigger issue. Bolov didn't have the authority to do something like that. And there was never a migration of any kind of my people leaving the cities. Whatever you were told, it just didn't happen.
Well, guess you got a guy to interrogate.
He's probably been brainwashed by his parents, at least the mother.
Oh.
She,
I have a outing question for
Escape
Eider.
what?
Eider, are you detect eviling ever during any of this? This is very important.
Don't. That's a bait. Don't do that. Don't do it.
No.
It's not a bait, it's an important question.
An important question.
I mean, again, around Utham, it seems like a poor choice because I'll just get stunned.
I'll tell you, because you've used it on Utham before, and you clearly don't remember. Utham's not evil.
I know he's, well, yeah.
Utham is not evil. You've looked at him before to detect evil. He's not evil.
Actually, that's a good point. I think I might be keeping an eye out right now, actually, now that it makes sense, because the fucking soul coins exist.
Every single black metal guard is evil.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
But Utham is not evil.
Utham? What? Sorry, Regan? What? Who are these guards?
My royal guard. My black guards.
You see as one of them takes off their helmet, and you recognize the shorter and stubbier Hroten, immediately Kez, that's kind of standing there with the shield with the skull mounted onto it. And he just kind of waves over at you as at the mention and seeing you guys kind of looking over in his direction.
When a frost giant reaches their, I suppose you could say, apex of their physical body, with a bit of training, they gain much power, but they seem to always turn evil.
At that mention, you watch as two of the Blackguard kind of bumping into each other and just start swinging at each other and beating the living crap out of each other.
But they're very skilled at their job.
Well, another thing since we last saw you, I have children now.
Not biologically.
Utham just stares.
You see Hootie who's sitting on Ned's shoulder, you see a sigh of the poor owl just as it leans out. He's half asleep trying to stay awake.
Look over at Ader. Like,
Good
well, not
for
biologically or livingly, I suppose.
Well, either way, congratulations. As Utham's very confused.
Oh, also, there's a corpse of a undead god on this mountain.
On this mountain.
Just pull out the map and like point to the peak that we were on.
Utham sighs. Like, I thought you meant the one the city was on. Oh my god.
There's what I was told. There's
Well,
an evil dragon up, a dead dragon, I believe. A whole bunch of corpses. It seems like that whole peak was made of corpses almost.
Yeah, we got the confirmation from the necromancer that was like his god, supposedly.
or his god was buried in the mountain. The pyro or something. The great pyro.
Yeah, I identified that thing as like a massive, dead pyroclastic dragon. That's so fucking evil. It's still giving off an evil signature while it's dead.
So, DM, I can roll religion if you want. I can't roll below a 35.
That still requires a roll to know this far back. This would be Ogaren's youth kind of history.
Then would you prefer history or religion?
I'll take a knowledge, history, or religion. Either one will work. Just let me know what you're rolling.
46.
Religion or history?
Religion.
There are rumors and tales of ancient gods long before any sort of collective, any sort of actual major cities, when many races were still coming out of the mud and giants and dragons fought day to day just to basically thrive. A time when Ogarin would have been in his teens, a capable warrior as far as history goes. The few bits of tales that you've been able to gather through your travels as well as from your father's own library that he would have kept for his own collection. There was supposedly once a dragon more powerful and stronger than any that had ever walked the mortal plane before, a creature that had climbed its way from a foreign plane to walk amongst the mortals and just terrorized and killed anything in the way. Supposedly, there was a very strong and powerful nation that your father mentioned in his youth that used to live in the territory you now inhabit, as well as where the collective was. That nation was wiped out by this creature. As you kind of think about it, the fact that it's a mountain, it kind of makes sense that most likely that entire mountain, and most of these mountains are probably made of corpses given the amount of silver that's in them. It might have been the soldiers' metal that has been basically degrading down over the many millennia that since this has happened.
Well, I congratulate you on finding a leftover, I guess, army or people of the last kingdom to live here before me. They were thought gone entirely, although I don't know if I want to touch a dragon god's corpse.
You might admittedly want to make sure nobody else does.
That
Yes,
place
but-
is where the cataclysm tried to come through, so I would be wary of it.
I don't have the people to spare to deal with something of that size right now.
Well, we're just the bad news givers. We're not helping you plan, unfortunately.
Either way,
Name.
we'll have a couple days and we'll get you your equipment. I'll set you up with everything you need and the location you can wait for the expedition to catch up to you. Unless you have more bad news. As I just stare at Eider.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, actually. I think for a moment. To the best of my ability, I begin to like describe the ritual that was there with the stone pillars and everything. And I'm like cap it off and say, I don't know if it started because I tried to destroy him or destroy the ritual, or if it ended, but he started pulling himself through towards the end of it.
You did not let a ritual start for a god-level being to come into my kingdom.
To be fair, I ended the ritual.
It's at this point,
That's why we were marked.
you hear behind you a very familiar voice of the scholar who's been annoying you for meetings that you've been avoiding at every chance you get, as he is crazy and does not seem to have any conversation skills, as there's no chance to answer. You hear Bardris kind of shout, "Hey, I've got good news, though!"
Nope, not allowed.
The party just hears Utham mouth out like, fuck. As he looks over at Bardris.
Hey man, how's it going?
Great.
Days.
Oh,
You keep that good news to yourself. Only bad news here.
I'm so glad to see you, and Eider, you're not dead. I'm quite shocked on that. To be honest, I would have figured your head and shoulders would have been separated from each other quite a while ago. Allow me, if I may, as he kind of pulls his leather shirt forward a little bit and tightens it a bit more, kind of letting the cold try and get out. Hopefully, trying to warm himself a bit more.
I would say you can't, but I know you're going to anyway.
Regan Utham, this is why I like you. You've learned how these lessons work. I imagine that Zilpit fellow has taught you quite well with his own interests and eccentric attitudes.
I've been avoiding him too.
Most people do, even in the future, but that's neither here nor there. If I'm understanding, and if I did hear correctly, You said the Cataclysm was trying to come through. That is good news for you, Regan. That means that the good omen that I was trying to tell you about that was coming has arrived. It also means that we may be seeing here soon much more upheaval and war, but shouldn't be here. That's the best part. We should be seeing a calm future going forward. Unless, Domnander, let me ask you something. When you see, and he holds up a blackened coin in his hand, do you feel appalled or a want for this?
As he
Give me a will
lifts
save.
the coin up, yeah, I can make a will save. I was gonna describe something, but I'll do that first. Oh fuck, the dice went.
It ran. The dice doesn't want to be thrown against the wall.
A 17.
You managed to succeed in resisting.
So you would see as he suddenly holds up the coin, Don's in pain rapt attention to the words and to Bargers, because he's aware Bargers has otherworldly knowledge. His eyes immediately, like, have a brief moment where, like a cat, they dilate, and then he immediately, like, squints and the pupils close, and he kind of... Otha would notice him, like, a lot more tense than usual, and he goes, "It's a coin."
Ah, so you do! Okay, that answers, and that means that. And he looks over. Either Ned or Eider should have a want to kill and destroy this coin.
Boom.
Aren't you gonna make an attack against it?
Yeah.
Alright,
Can I
let's...
intervene?
No, as with your trying to kind of resist it yourself, this is a reaction of his own. Yeah,
Fucking. Can Uther stop him?
no, but I will say a 3 does miss.
Yeah. I like shoot off like a tiny bit of spellfire at this fucking thing and miss.
You watch as Bars pulls it away and kind of pockets it back into a bag of holding that you see that is more. It looks to be made of dragon scale. As he kind of looks at you and goes, all right, now that's answered that. So that does mean that currently we should be seeing peace in these lands, the dethroning of Greg's Maratom, as well as the Thrycreen. Well, that will be unfortunate. Regan Utham, I have a bit of news, unfortunately, on that factor. We will have to give up on your position of working with Seji himself, as soon he will not be making it off the battlefield. The Thrycreen will be devouring him.
Wait, so he said we'd have to not assist Seji?
Yes.
I wasn't going to assist Seji in the first place.
Oh. And I must be
That's a lost battle. Do you know how many men I would have to mount of my own far away from home to help him?
Good. So you are you did make that decision. That makes sense. That should put us...
The only decision related to the trolls I've made is offering to evacuate whoever makes it to the portal before they shut it down.
You should not do that, my Regan. If I may recommend, the trolls will become a nefarious problem for wherever they land. If their leaders, who I suspect, the great painter here soon, will rise in a position of power that you haven't seen before.
What, Sid?
That was not his name when, according to the history books, as he kind of like opens this large book and starts flipping pages and goes,
He was teleported by the wyvern.
He takes the name I've got listed here is formerly Little D, Daka, the largest fist and breaker of chain. Don't know what that means, but supposedly he descends from a capable warrior that was the advisor to Seji, as I'm reading here. He will be the one to grow in power.
Oh, my dear boy.
A master is mentioned here. No name is given, but bright red in coloration is what he's described as.
I just kind of looks crestfallen as he realizes his buddy is not going to be the king of the trolls.
But if I
Out of
may,
game, you can change that.
if I may continue, Regan, I recommend the expedition you're going that you are recommending. Let this lot stay in town for the time being. They will serve as a fear to anyone who doesn't serve your own god or a god of the same power. Well, Cataclysm is nothing to want to deal with, I understand, and is a great danger to your own city as well as your own being. Do understand that the followers of such would not dare to step foot currently in the city with your presence here. You are capable beyond any of those who follow them currently, though this being beyond this plane may be a problem to look into. I do not think it'll be an immediate danger currently.
I'm willing to allow it, but if anything happens, it's on your head, Bartress.
Well, technically, I already lost my head once before. I'm willing to lose it again. But my bet would be that this lot will be better of an asset to you in the future than a loss. Though, think of them like a death group, an organization you send out with the expectation that no one else will take it amongst your nation, your soldiers, as their lives will need to be put in great danger if they are to succeed in the future that you are hoping for. As he kind
I
of
was not
closes the book.
going to cut this group off. It is just in the current time, it's not safe for them or us for them to be here. Like I said, my preparations are not ready.
They won't be. You won't win. You know this. I've told you this, and I've tried to explain this. But I understand if you must continue to feebly try against it. It's the same as my compatriot who continues to try and make a world that bends to his will, and unfortunately, no matter how much he wishes it, Kesnanok will not be a woman.
Uth was going to ignore that one.
You see a kind of look towards Kez, and then there's somewhere in the distance that Zilpip feels a slight peeved anger at someone mentioning and calling him out, basically, without him knowing it. It's the...
That's why I like the Bargers. That's why I like it.
But
Bargers.
he nods.
You don't tell prophecy, do you?
I can't tell a lie, and I cannot tell the truth.
Don't entertain the madman either.
I am
just
not.
gotta,
I am
I
not.
just gotta
mad.
now turn to Regan and say, he's been wrong multiple times since I've met him so far. To hell with his proclamation that it's useless.
Ah, but I know something that you'll want to know. If you want to test my abilities, I'll give you something that is cemented. Within the coming days upon this expedition, there will be a war coming, in which by the end of, we'll call it the Bloodied Month, Regan Utham, Greg's Marathon will betray you and seek your end. One known as the leader of the Rakshasa people will stand on your side as an ally and will not stand against them. But if you choose to kill him, you will see your kingdom fall. If you choose to make peace and force him to listen to reason, you will see a glory upon an empire that you've never seen before and exactly the goal that you look to achieve. I can't promise that Velkomen or Nitron or any other city will survive, but Hrimpurser's Last Hold will succeed in the goal that you have. This I give you as a guaranteed.
This is why I avoid talking to you. I'd be shocked if Greg's Marathon survived that long, but fine.
It's
I'll
true.
take what you're...
Zebru wants him dead as well, unfortunately. How about this? If you wish to me approve my powers as Bargish kind of walks over and goes, I know something that I guarantee that you cannot answer to. And he climbs over to, or walks over to Regan Utham and kind of like ushers him to bed down so that he can speak in his ear.
Fine. I'm more because I don't think I can bend low. I'm gonna lift him up because I can't bend that low.
Yeah, so you kind of grab him and pick him up. He kind of looks at you a little annoyed as he steps into your hand, and as you pull him up, he leans in to whisper into your ear, and you hear him say, Yaki Roxer was killed by Zebril at the command of Greg's Marathon, at the understanding that you were fine with his death, as long as the better compatriot was allowed to live. As he kind of whispers this quietly, no one else is able to hear as you see a small bubble envelop around Regan Utham's ear and Bargis's head.
I just look at Bardris and just say, as if I can do anything about him. As I'll just set him back down.
Bargis kind of smiles and looks over at the rest of the party and goes, Now, as I mentioned, You lot should stay in town. You'll learn some things and gain some value while you're here before the expedition. Rest, recuperate, do the job you've been asked to do. Leave the city gracefully. Also, I need my airship back while you're on this expedition. It's totally not to do has any meaning to it, of course, but I do need to borrow it for a time being to complete some issues at hand. If you don't mind, I will provide you once more with it once you landed or managed to make it to the city that you are heading towards.
I don't see an issue with that. However, we're gonna need to get our card out.
I feel like purses his lips, thinks for a moment, says, I agree, but for a price.
You charge me for my own item, and I defend you to the Regan, as he looks up at Regan Utham and goes, I've done nothing but do everything to save your lives, including the silver weapons. What price could you ask of me?
I kind of look him up and down and say, I didn't take your offer of knowledge before, and I ask you for it now. But I don't know where to find more information about that thing. And I don't intend to let people fall because of that.
The creature that you saw?
I just kind of gives a solemn nod.
In the next coming days and on the expedition, you'll learn more about that creature and its followers than anything I could tell you that wouldn't cause you to roll over with a migraine and your brain to swim. As he looks about your party. You lot are already predestined. You don't have a decision in this anymore. That creature will fight you at some point. I promise you that. By the end of your adventure, that will happen. I can't guarantee it'll be all of you standing still there at that point, but he looks up to the Regan, and then looks back to you lot again. I promise you, during this time, you're going to learn quite a bit about yourself, and that some of you will make it to that end battle. And when you do, the future the Regan sees will come true because of it. But should you choose now to ignore this knowledge and choose to not take this fight on, it's understandable. There are those who are quite more capable. I understand that you are fearful of these fiends. Choose to do so, and the others will take up your charge. But note that those who are tossed aside from history are rarely ever remembered. As he kind of looks about to each of you. Go ahead.
I just want to say there is an absolute fire in Keznak's eyes.
Same in Dom's.
A religious fervor.
With that, I promise that with the fire and what I see in each of you, you're going to become the heroes that you're hoping to be. The gods you worship, the plans you set out to see, you will see them through if you continue this path, but you must be willing to take the risk and fight. No, not with stupidity. Understanding and knowledge is quite needed for this journey. No hero was ever born without smarts. But if you manage it, he looks over to Ned specifically at that comment, and then looks back amongst the crowd. You manage it.
Blankly blink back.
The eyes do not blink at the same time.
Yeah. He kind of looks about you lot again and goes, your goals will be achieved, and with this I hope that you understand. You will see a world that you're hoping for. So.
Look.
Mm-hmm. He looks to you, Dom.
Dom just kind of with that fire in his eyes, just kind of hands balls into fists, just kind of speaking to himself, but also to Bardris. If the Cataclysm should choose to seek us out, then let us be the calm and bring with us the storm. And kind of just spits on the ground as kind of an insult to the Cataclysm and crosses his arms.
As you kind of spit down, you look as you see the necromancer kind of still laying in the right there as it hits him, completely still unconscious.
Right, before I forget. And I'm going to kind of lug him up.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to hand him off, and then I'm going to hand the gold reward for the quest to Eider. And I'm going to say, I was going to pay you less, but with all the news you brought, I think I can at least pay you in full. Because you only paid me one.
As you hand him the gold and the payment, Bard just kind of smiles between the two of you and then looks about and goes, "So can I can sign on with you lot to go with the expedition, right? That's fine, right, Regan?"
I thought you were taking the airship to go somewhere else.
Ah, well, I'm gonna also sign on for a little bit. Don't worry about that. I have something I need to look into while we're here.
I want to ask, Bargers has been my contact recently to the collective, right? That's basically been what I've been stuck with.
Roughly. While he's mad, he's very high ranked and has more knowledge than you ever expected. Because he's not been able to give you truth for the future, and most of his predictions have been rough at best. All the stuff that you've asked him for information, he has been 100% accurate and far more than you ever knew about.
Then I'll look to him and say, I won't stop you, but who's going to replace you as my aide from the collective?
They'll send someone else. Technically, I'm not even supposed to be here. There's supposed to be another guy. He should be getting here soon now that his wheel and carriage are fixed. Oh, I may have, before climbing up the mountain, when I landed here, I went down, found the guy who was supposed to be here originally, and kind of broke his wagon to a point and got him lost on an island. He's finally should be arriving here within the next couple days.
You know I can't let you walk away when you say that. You know I can't.
You couldn't stop me if you wished to, and I promise you it's not worth your time.
But you know, for my deal with the collective, I at least have to try.
Just tell them that what I did, and tell them that you tried. I'll be leaving before they get here. As he turns to Ida and holds his hand out, and waiting for the book that he gave you.
I look at him, think for a moment, and say, "You've enjoyed?"
Knowledge for the book, sure. He kind of pulls out a blank book, like on the cover, that is looks to be covered in a brown leather. Looks very old and seems to be very well read from the inside of it, but it is actually made from what you immediately recognize as this rare material called paper, which I will note is almost impossible to get. Most people use papyrus as a general material. Or leather.
Yeah. Stone-faced, I just kind of nod and hand over the book and say, "The Moors."
Sure. Whatever you read to this book or state your intention, it will give you as much fact as you are allowed to know in this current situation. Don't abuse the power, as I do promise. The more you use it, the more of a target you become.
I just kind of nod.
He takes the other book at that, kind of smiles and goes, "All right, toodaloo," and turns and starts jogging towards the ship and quickly not even waiting for you to respond.
I obviously swing. I have to.
All right, go ahead and take a hit. The party's about to learn something they didn't want to know.
I'm sure they are, but I have to.
It's technically aid another because Dom was gonna attempt to go for the bag of holding as he left.
You can give me
aid another this attack.
You can, yeah. I was gonna say if you want to give me a sleight of hand for the going for the bag of holding.
I was gonna say whatever you would think it count. I think aid another. I do something would just give a bonus to his roll, but I'll make sleight of hand. That might be better.
Oh yeah, go ahead. With a 42 to hit, I'll mention what happens as soon as we see what the sleight of hand is. Ooh.
16. Probably not good enough.
As both of you at almost at the same time as Dom kind of is about to lean down or is close enough to grab the bag of holding, Utham turns and swings at Bargers, and almost as if he's not there, you watch as the hand goes through nothing but light, as well as Regan Utham's, I assume, hand, or using your weapon?
This is my scythe.
As your scythe goes clean through, not touching anything, almost cutting into Eider, who is standing inches away from where the blade cuts through. Bargers just kind of looks at both of you with confusion and goes, "Obviously, I'm not dumb."
Could fool me.
Listen, okay, it's a spell that you don't need to know about. Just accept it, move on. I'm just gonna go through. Please stop trying to grab my stuff. Oh, you people are so annoying. You're worse than that Zilpip fellow. As he walks over to the airship, completely ignoring you and walking around you lot.
So handsy.
He climbing up the airship. Go ahead, Dom.
I said I assumed there was no physical back to.
Nope, you didn't feel anything. Nope.
But the coin felt real.
It did. As he climbs aboard the airship, you watch as a couple of the Blackguard come jogging over it, seeing Regan Utham like swing at him and start throwing weapons at the ship as it starts to take off and leave.
I'm gonna look to some of my guards. Apparently, he wasn't supposed to be here. We'll have a new member of Pirates coming in within a few days or so. Be ready for them.
Croton looks at you and goes, Regan Utham, Barges was trying to tell you that in the first week when you kept telling him to leave.
He also kept muttering madness into my ears. Of course I avoided him.
He did mention something about the Gloom Queen being killed. I guess we should have listened at some point. As he just kind of looks about and goes, so about the furnace on the airship, I don't think that's in the cards now, as he looks to Eider.
We can have that on hold, I suppose.
Understand, my Regan. I'll take the guard back to the castle for the time being.
If you could prepare the other items to help them with the cold, I would appreciate it.
Oh, of course. I'll head back to the last hold immediately and get everything set up. As he starts kind of jogging back, the rest of the Blackguard kind of following a line behind him.
All right. I'll prepare housing for your stay until the expedition. If it'll truly be fine for my people, then I see no issues. Now, unless you need me, I have a letter to send to the Jaw Terracitus. Apparently, I'm going to be betrayed.
Regan Utham turns and begins walking away, kind of stopping to talk to what you see as a couple city guards that look to be quite well armored. Both of them kind of nodding and seeming to run off into the city. The other, not both of them. One of them turning and running into the city. The other seems to stand patiently, kind of watching you lot as from afar as he just stands there. Regan Utham eventually kind of walking away and heading towards the bridge.
I do try and flag Regan Utham down right before that.
Oh, okay, yeah, if you want to jog after him, yeah, no issues. As you kind of catch him kind of starting to walk away, Regan Utham turns to look at you.
I need help training. And I think you might be able to put my abilities to use.
How so?
Turn my, thoughts over for a second. Magic for me is malleable, formless. My understanding is that typically you have to force it into a form for the magic to force itself into items. I think it might not be that difficult for me to make it whatever it needs to be.
I don't think I have anything that needs said malleability, but if you have an idea, I'm all ears. Although, if I don't have a reason to stay, I need to head back to the capital soon.
Yeah, we can, I'll, nod for a moment and say, I have some plans. I'll contact you later.
Very well.
Before you go, Reagan, also, I don't think it'll be of much help, but it's all I could gather. And he kind of approaches and respectfully will offer the lyrium chunk. This was used. I'll say this was used to help bring the cataclysm. So if there's anything you can find out about it to stop it, probably the best we'll get.
This death ore, is it?
It's powerless.
It's powerless.
There's no. It's just a chunk of raw, crystal, see-through crystal at this point. There's no magic in it.
I tried.
Piece of dead lyrium. Odd. I suppose I might be able to use it as a scrying focus if someone built something with it. But either way, as I'll kind of pat Dom on the shoulder, I won't be able to help you directly from now on, but I'll always be waiting for letters and calls.
I I'm sorry to have failed you like this, but I will continue our missions and to bring honor since I've brought dishonor to your name.
Oh, Dom, you
And
haven't
kind of
failed
like
anything.
he's kind of like bows his head and kind of like a show of respect to the people watching, but Uther could tell is very much just a head bow of shame, like he doesn't want to look you in the eyes right now.
I
Before
doubt
you
most
leave-
of my own could do better.
I would hope they could, but before you go, I would also like to talk about potentially making myself stronger, but if you have business to attend to, please tend to it.
I suppose we can work on something for the coming weeks. You'll be here.
He kind of nod his head and step to the side and kind of side-eye Aider, who was just watching that exchange, and kind of his face kind of that brief moment of like vulnerability and like shame kind of like sombers up, and he kind of looks neutral again.
Utham looks at the others to see if they're going to stop me next.
Looking back towards Ned and Kesnanuk, who are just kind of standing there.
I'm like, hey man, I would have said something as soon as you said, is there anything else? I'm not like these two and we'll wait till you walk away.
I look at Ned.
Yeah, no, I ain't got anything right now. I'm sure you'll fly away, and like 2 minutes later, I'll be like, I should ask him, but right now it's not important, I suppose.
If you forget to ask something, just give it to Hroten or something. He has a line to me. As I'll go to walk away.
As you walk away,
Ned starts looking for the line.
Oh, one more piece of bad news before you go.
God damn it.
And that's how Ader dies.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
as you
I just thought it was a joke.
as the Regan Utham heads kind of heads towards the bridge in the cave opening, or one of the cave openings. One of the guards comes over to you that Regan had talked to a moment ago, who'd been waiting. Kind of looks at you a lot and goes, "If you will follow me, we've found you some lodgings. You'll be staying in a house with 4 separate rooms and a main room to share. I hope that's within reason, as that's the best that Regan could offer."
Sounds
Will do. And kind of side eyes Ned.
I will say, before Bargis left, the cart and the gosling's nest, as well as the goslings in the nest, did get shot out of the ship.
Hell.
So, yeah.
I wonder how many more secrets that ship had that he didn't tell us.
Well, I got his book now.
As you follow the guard, he takes you into the city to the outskirts of the town, towards like what looks to be kind of an edge of one of the back walls that doesn't allow for much any way of getting out, only going forward through the front door. As you're brought into the simple room and kind of left there to rest and relax, you lot kind of gather and begin to plan for your next day.
I want to talk real quick with Eider.
Yeah, at this point, as you all are kind of in this lodging, I mean, it's a building built for frost giants, from what you can tell. So it's massive. The table itself is Eider, comes up to your head level as far as like standing next to it.
Oh lord, it's very difficult to read in this place.
Eider, I have essentially been a de facto leader when we came to this land. Mostly because of sheer circumstance did I take up a leadership role. I never wanted it. I never asked for it. I did it because there needed to be somebody at the top. But through my time with this party, I've realized that rarely at any point in time has anybody taken what I said into serious consideration.
Kez, I imagine side-eyeing Dom at that mention.
Sen took yourself into consideration.
What?
What? And as we were up on the mountain, a lot of things got a little jumbled up, and I'm a little confused about the things that went on, especially with something sounding like my deity and not. At this point in time, I do not think it is safe for me to be the one leading this party. So, if you wish, I will give you the power of this group to make any meaningful decisions, as I do not feel confident in my abilities as of late to be reliable in that situation.
Either you can tell the Kez is 100% serious in this moment as he looks at you.
Ider like takes a few like long moments to like look Kez over, kind of like mull over his choice of words. Pipes up and says, "Listen, look, I wouldn't say that you've been ineffective. You've been a boon to us as a party. I'd hate for you to feel like you haven't shouldered your share of the burden, because it feels like, yeah, we each have our own part to do. If it makes you feel better, I can take over this part for us. But we each have our own things that I think we should all take ownership of."
Not exactly an answer, Ryder.
I say yes.
Thank you. That's what I wanted.
That's
Not
I
this
said
whole,
yes.
everyone has a part to play. Yeah, that wasn't a yes. Thank you. I
I
appreciate
did say yes before it.
I certainly didn't hear it.
As Kez comments on it, either you're not sure if that's a short joke or if Kez is just going deaf.
But thank you. Now I've got to read. I have a religion to rebuild, apparently.
Really thinks about like saying like a comforting word, but just got his head bitten off. So fuck that. I don't think that's gonna land great right this second.
As Kez kind of starts to look like he is like in somber thought, almost somewhere else as he looks around or goes about the room. You lot begin or kind of sit down for a meal that is brought to you from outside. What looks to be cooking brought from the guild itself to your own setup. As you do notice, guards are kind of stationed outside the front door. It doesn't seem like you're prisoners, but it does seem like you're being put under observation for the time being while you're here. Whether for your safety or for the safety of the city is the question that you will have to answer of your own. But as you lot kind of sit down to a meal and begin to relax, we're going to end session here with the party kind of thinking, contemplating, and debating what to do next amongst themselves and their own goals. We thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed, and we will see you next time.